Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Table of Titans. It is Thursday again. I got I got Space Shot and Tron with me. Man down for Rdoc. He's going for his passport in the morning. Got to get up early. He says hello to everybody out there on the internet lands. And we've got, let's make a deal. We've got trips overseas to China with a big boatload of the top CEOs. We've got deals being made. We've got domestic stuff. We got arrests coming around in here. Yeah, good old Eric Stallwell's friend didn't do very well when the FBI asked him to turn himself in for charges of the DOJ. California's got charges for that assistant for Gavin Newsom. She's got issues, and that's going to take down some other people along with it. It's getting really interesting. And we got some rhinos dealing with the election over here that we just had the helping from the Supreme Court. They're not helping whatsoever. We're going to talk all about that in the very beginning, but welcome in chat. Thank you for everybody. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Leave a comment at the bottom of the video. Tron, what's going on, sir?
Setting the stage for November, baby. Democratic Party is at their very low, and the deep state, again, watching and witnessing the destruction of the old guard. Let's make deals. And now there's no more deals to be made. It's time to come to the side of winning. And DJT leading by example, going to China, making deals, bringing the cavalry with, trillions of dollars of market cap. And again, solidifying America's future. We're not going to be second. We're always going to be number one. And most importantly, it's contagious. And we have a few individuals from our government also in Cuba tonight. Havana, baby. Everything's happening at once. And this is the precipice, baby. Hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Let's have a great show. And have faith, be encouraged, man. This is it.
Let's roll. Mr. Space Shot, how you doing, sir?
What is going on, and how is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? Yeah, it's things are, cooking along here, and definitely a lot of pieces being moved around the board, and as we're moving around the world here from Iran, and then now we're kind of not messing around, but going over and having some discussions with Xi, and then I'm sure we'll get into them later, but some very timely pieced news articles dropping as President Trump's heading to China, all trying to throw a turd in the punch bowl, as they always try to do and have been doing for the better part of 8 years or so. But yes, this is very interesting, and I'm encouraged to see what I've been seeing in this last couple of months, especially. So this is getting very juicy and tasty out there. I always want to say a big hat tip to the mods for helping us greatly. Appreciate their very selfless help, myself, these guys, and many others out there. And always a big hat tip for Country and the folks doing the simulcast with us, running right alongside with us for the last 8 years over there on Liberty Based News, formerly the Patriot News Crew. And you can find their link in my description box of all of these shows there. But looks like Hulk's got about 1 million tabs to get through, so that means a lot of news. So back to you, sir.
Yeah, let's throw this one out way over here at the end. Yeah, we're going to the end of the list really quick because this is interesting right here. Breaking: President Trump surprises the United States from China by announcing that the country will rededicate itself to God on what day, Tron? Tron, what day did he pick?
Oh, it just happens to be the 17th. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So they're going to do a national big prayer thing down at the National Mall. So if you're available, you can go down there on the morning of the 17th and to rededicate United States under one nation under God. I just thought that was interesting.
That is so important after a Sleepy Joe, after all these demons in the White House. Finally, we're bringing back religion, all that fun stuff. And this is what we need, man. We can't go over that next hump without a little help from the real boss up above. So this is getting next level. And this is something that I've always said I wanted to see from boss since 2016, and now we're getting around to that. But this is when we need it the most. So Christ is King, and let's roll, baby. That's good.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back into stories and stuff, because we're going to kind of pick up what happened off of last week. We picked up on Thursday, and we were talking about the big giant Supreme Court decision. Well, it's been an entire week. How did we fare with lawfare and congressional districts and who gets to pick what? But let's get Hakeem Jeffries a little bit of a response here, because this gentleman spent, I think it was $60 million on the redistricting over there in Virginia. Oops, and all for naught.
But Mr. Leader, you ultimately lost this, and you take personally.
Who lost?
You lost in the.
Who lost? Did the voters lose?
Democrats did. You're alone.
Did the voters lose?
You take personal responsibility for investing so much time and resources, tens of millions of dollars, in ultimately fruitless effort.
We did the right thing, and this effort is not over.
But Mr. Leader, I mean, you ultimately lost this, and you take personal.
Who lost?
So back to this. Did you guys obviously all heard about this story, but did you hear what their alternative to fix this issue in Virginia and to overturn the Supreme Court that says, yeah, you guys are racial gerrymandering? You guys hear about this?
Was it get rid of everybody?
They wanted to lower the age of retirement from 75 down to 54 and then kick the entire Supreme Court out and pick up a whole bunch of new ones. That was their best plan of spitballing stuff across the table that leaked out, and that's all they got.
Oh my word. Well, and we know what they're going to do, right? So I believe, he needs to start, President Trump needs to stop playing Mr. Nice Guy, because we know what these people will do once they ever get power again, right? And it's not going to be along the legal side of things. They'll try to jam the court up or do like what Hulk said. Oh, yeah, we're going to make, this the retirement age, and therefore you guys are gonzo. Have a nice day. I mean, they would try anything. They are very, very desperate, cornered animals.
That's where we're at right now. Let's get into some numbers here. So this one up here in your neck of the woods over here says, I want to get into the numbers here. So just looking at the up in your area, Maine and those types of areas, which don't carry any Republican seats out there, but we can see we got a big chunk of the Republican representatives there up in that north, but we're not picking any seats out there in that particular area itself. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be doing up there. I think Maine's going to be an interesting issue coming up here the next election cycle. There's a whole bunch of issues with the mayor and the governor and the Chinese and wheat farms. Yeah. It should be very interesting in May coming up here very shortly. So pay attention to that one. But the rest of the group, I don't know where to put them out there. Comments on this group?
It's crazy, Hulk, because, like I've stated numerous times, Massachusetts that surrounds me and Connecticut that surrounds me and New York is, 2 hours south. These places are just liberal to the max. But when you get into like New Hampshire and Maine, most of those places are people like us. They're Republicans. They have the same kind of values as we do. And the idea that, that these states are Democrat states is kind of laughable to me, especially when I've driven through them many times and see the difference between, the Trump signs versus the Biden or Harris / whoever. You see way more Trump signs up there. And so they're doing the districting thing, and to their benefit, of course. But, I can't really say much about Rhode Island and Connecticut and Massachusetts, however.
Yeah, exactly. Where else we got over here for you here? South Carolina rhinos folded today. That means Mississippi needs to step in up to the plate. So they redrew the map down there, and they're going to allow, what's his name here? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Bertie Thompson to keep his seat. They could have just wiped him out. Nope, he's going to keep his seat. They're not standing up. The Rhino Republicans are allowing some of these people to keep their seats when they could really wipe out the entire area. So that's not the only state. Oh, look, they're going to do the same thing with Louisiana over here. They're going to make sure the rhinos down here are going to keep their extra seat down here. You see how this game is being played? There's no R versus D, red versus blue in some of these areas here. It's spheres of influence and zones of control, to quote somebody very famous here. But I just find this interesting that these two states can't get it across the line and totally take out the entire Democratic Party in these southern states themselves. Because guess what? The Supreme Court says, hey, we'll fast track it for you. Let me know.
It's disgusting, dude. I mean, look at the one on the left. It's hilarious. You got the little check right down the middle there. And they were doing this all, of course, to benefit them, right? And, of course, you're going to have the Republicans say, oh, we'll fix these, and then they're going to counter, and it's this perpetual back-and-forth bullshit that nobody voted for, right? Like, most people don't even want to get into this stuff. We just want to be, we don't want to be overburdened with, heavy prices on things and people coming down on everybody. So I just find it's absolutely hilarious the way they do this back and forth thing. And the two-party system, like, don't even get me started on it. It's, of course, that, we're yelling at them and, no, it's us, it's them, it's us. It's like all the while they're laughing to the bank.
Pretty much. You get Nancy Pelosi numbers in the stock trades. You know how that all works, right? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. What else do we got over here? Rhino Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana is on his way out. So it looks like he's going to get replaced over here by a more of a Republican base. We'll see how that comes together with Julie and the John over here as they're coming down. But the changes like we're starting to see with Texas over there with Paxton and Cornyn, because Cornyn's losing pretty bad and Paxton's still ahead, even though Cornyn's spending like 4 times the amount of money. No, like 8 times the amount of money.
Yeah, he's got a lot of funding. He looks like Franklin Graham.
Exactly. So some of these people are going to hold on to their spots. Governor Kemp has called a special session to redraw the state's U.S. House map. Republicans could likely pick up 2 more seats. Remember those 2 seats that we lost 4 years ago? Oh, yeah. So it might be flipping back the other direction over here. It's Kemp's last term. The deputy governor is running for the Senate, for the seat itself. A lot better than the crazy leftists they want to pick. So hopefully Georgia can remain in some sort of Republican hands, even though we know what happened in Georgia down there. So yeah, they're moving too.
Oh, you see there? Here's the catch. He's making them effective in 2028. But still, it doesn't, I mean, the fact that he's even doing it, right? And he was never really, quote, our guy, right? Remember I mean, it was horrible what went down in there with all the deaths and then the investigations and then the deaths on the investigators. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it is moving around. Also, we still in investigation in Fulton County down there. So let's not forget about that. We got a little pieces on that. So what are we looking at? Republicans could pick up 8 congressional seats this cycle, but because the political cowards, we're only going to get about 3, maybe more. Let's see if they hold some of these together because they're still playing the games against Trump and, the holdouts and the rhinos. But, obviously I think it's going to be a +4 for the Republicans in Congress is what I'm seeing itself. So it's not going to be like, oh, we got 10 or 12 or something. It's not going to be that high. Well, we are going to have an advantage. It really depends on how the independent and some of the rhinos vote or the way some of these systems are going to be going. So, yeah, going to get interesting pretty quickly here.
Get out and vote. Bring a friend. Tell them to bring a friend.
So here's an interesting little tidbit. Los Angeles County has 10 million residents and is more populous than the 40 states on this map. Oh, look, Los Angeles County right there.
That is crazy.
Just think I think it's more than that. I think it's more than 10 million. I think it's closer to like 18 or something like that, 18 million. So yeah, that definite Democrats down there. This is going to be an interesting hole because California is coming up on their election. And it looks like we might have the 2 primary systems because California is the 2 lead votes, no matter what party they are, they're going to go forward. And we got Steve Hilton out there. No, sorry. It's the sheriff guy. Brain fart. What's his name? Bianchi and the other guy. So it looks like both of them are leading over the rest of the Democratic Party. Do you know what the Democratic Party idea was to fix that issue? Space Shot, you want to take a guess?
I'm going off of a commercial from Spencer. Am I going in the right direction where they said to vote for Karen Bass or something like that?
No, because we had the 2 best candidates that got the most votes go to the final deal after the primaries and all that. They're deciding, no, it's got to be a Republican and a Democrat now. So that talk is going through the Senate right now because they know how bad they're going to lead. They're going to lose, and they don't know if they could hold it together for this upcoming election. So what did the Democrats do? They want to change the rules when they're losing.
Oh, they want to take the ball, pick up the ball, and go home. Now, Hulk, you got 10 million people in Los Angeles County alone. How many people in Rhode Island, you think?
1.3 million.
Close. 1.118 million.
Damn it! I overcounted. I was doing Dominion votes. Sorry about that, chat.
Well, that's probably the amount of people that voted in Rhode Island.
Pretty much, dude. Speaking of that, Trump put this out. Tron, you saw that, right?
Absolutely love it. Canada, you're gonna have to wait second place over here to Venezuela. And again, this is beautiful. This is meme. Whether or not this is true, I think it is. And again, this is contagious. Venezuela, Cuba's coming up. We're dealing with Iran. Hopefully that's going to finish as soon as Boss returns from China. But again, I mean, there's always a little bit of truth behind every joke, and let's just see what happens. Right? It's our area, it's our little hemisphere. Let's take care of it.
Yeah, you could take Greenland, take Canada, and take Venezuela down here. We are working on 2 bases in Greenland, by the way, but I think this is more of a meme than anything, but the current president that represents Venezuela is not a real big fan of Trump, but she's following along very closely and making sure she stays in line. So that's quite interesting, some of the things that we got down there. Picking up down there in Congress again, Thune over here is basically saying you can't do the SAVE Act. We don't have enough votes out there. And they're playing this game because they could just have the talking filibuster, get rid of the zombie filibuster, and make people go stand there for a week. You want to talk for a week? Then we're going to go have a vote about it. So I don't think nuking the filibuster is the way to do it, just to push stuff through. But I think to get the Democrats out there and dancing and talking, I think is a better idea.
There's some crap about AOC getting all sassy today, telling people, I dare the Republicans to vote for this.
For what, the SAVE Act? I haven't heard anything from her for a while.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I'll see. I'll drop it for you if I can find it in a minute.
Yeah, no problem here. What else do we got? I thought this was interesting. President Ronald Reagan won re-election with 54 million votes in 1984. 4.3 in mail-in ballots. Joe Biden won 2020 with 81 million votes, with 69 million mail-in votes for Biden. And remember, they don't know where that extra 15 million went. They made them up, and the whole ghost votes and all those sort of things. I just thought that was absolutely interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that election was almost as believable as, airliners taking down, towers in New York City. This is incredible that we're at this point. I mean, mathematically impossible. How many counties did they take, via theft and whatnot? So this is fantastic that we're, making this a point in 2026, because like Boss said in the very beginning, we don't have a country left without our votes all lined up. And look at that, 4.3 million versus 69 million. Again, the pandemic, we're not going to do it again, and the world is awakened, man. Shout out Reagan.
Most secure election in history. Yeah, screw you, Chris Krebs.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
look, that was a few days ago. She basically said, I dare you, call the question, let these senators assume personal responsibility for their own decisions instead of hiding behind this amorphous lack of responsibility for anything. That's what the filibuster represents.
Here, read this for everybody.
Absolutely. Shiloh Mark says, voter registration applications increased 77 million in 2016 to 103 million in 2020. Federal law imposed no requirement for proof of citizenship for these applications. Oh, hey, why not? Wow.
Yeah, big giant baby boom, right? Yeah, they're all voting, right? They all came all of age. Yeah, they were making shit up, dude. They just tried to roll it over. So yeah, that's happening out there in the election stuff. So Polymark and the rest of the group out there are still saying that Democrats are going to hold the House with their votes and the rhinos and all those sort of things. But, on the ground, what we're seeing with people and voter registrations and what's changing with the maps, I see it more the other way, that we are going to have a strong presence in the Republican Party coming up for the primaries. So I think we're going to have a really good rendition. I don't think it's going to be as good as Trump wants it to be, and he hasn't really hit the stump all that much, and we know that's coming here very shortly. He's going to do more of these rallies that are coming out there to get the base out ready to vote out there. But yeah, we got some issues, and they're working through them. So thoughts on the election coming up?
Well, I think they're going to obviously be battling this stuff back and forth. I think at the end of the day, we're going to get some rulings as far as I've seen it for the last few years, when the votes really matter and the counts really matter, the Supreme Court seems to be pulling through for what's correct for the Constitution. And so I think, therefore, we'll get some correct votes as we head up to this stuff. It seems like we've been getting very favorable rulings from them for the most part. But again, I think we're going to see a lot more progress and a lot more change before those midterms.
Well, because that's an interesting thing you had mentioned that, because the thing that I had noticed that, when we win things, or the Republican Party wins things out of the Supreme Court and stuff like that. We kind of celebrate, but we're not out there rah, 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 and all those sort of things. But when the Democratic Party wins something over their Supreme Court, they weaponize it and they're dancing in the streets, all of that. We don't get active unless they're going to start taking shit away, you know? So just think about that the next time. What else do we got in here? The Senate has unanimously passed 99-0 resolution that withhold lawmakers' pay if the government shuts down. It means once the government opens back up, they can get their money. So it's not deferred, like you don't get it. We're not going to pay you for it. You're going to get it later. So just as an idea of what they're running to. So yeah, it seems like they're going to make a vote for this on the floor, and it's going to be something that they're going to try to go after. But just pay attention to the small points. They're not losing any money. They just won't get paid.
For these folks that, aren't dealing, check to check, for them it doesn't really matter, right? Like, oh yeah, well, we'll pass this vote through. Makes us kind of look good, right? And it sounds good. Like, oh my God, they all voted for this. It's like, yeah, I got bank, so I'll just float my bank account until then. People that are on check to check, that might, affect a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll get into some of those numbers coming up a little bit later. You can crack at that, Mr. Space Shot.
Okie dokie. Bill Malugan says, breaking, U.S. Border Patrol Chief Mike Banks tells me he's resigning, effective immediately. Quote, it's just time, Banks tells me. Quote, I feel like I got the ship back on course from the least secure, disastrous, chaotic border to the most secure border this country has ever seen. Time to pass the reins. 37 years, it's time to enjoy the family and life. Yeah, 37 years, hell yeah.
So him and the other guy that was let go, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, the one that had the Twitter account, Mike Rabio or something like that. Anyway, yeah, thank you. That both of them were, both these guys were down for 100% for mass deportations, which has basically scaled back. Might be one of the reasons why he's leaving. But I did go back and look to verify that down in Texas in the Rio Grande sector, they are still going forward with those mass deportation centers. There's like two or at least two of them that they're developing down there. One that's getting ready, another one they're going to purchase and start putting assets in there and be able to facilitate some of these mass migrations. So we might be ramping back up after the election, folks. We'll see what happens because he's still got to leave it safe enough for another Republican to run for president, whether it's Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance. I'm not sure. It's kind of like The Apprentice here at this point. I don't know. Tron, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a surprise. I mean, let's be honest. None of us were excited, about J.D. Vance as the vice president. And I don't have an outlook for 2028. I think Boss, as much as I would love for him to lay on the beach of Mar-a-Lago with his beautiful Melania and whatnot, but 2028 might be an actual run. And if that doesn't happen, if they say, oh no, you can't run for an extra term because you already won the 2020 election, he might have to come in as a Speaker of the House that we floated years ago. But I want more Boss. But again, there is life after Boss. So if that's Marco, if that's JD Vance, I'm backed by whatever Boss is backing. So again, MAGA must live on, and I think we're going to be okay. Boss is setting this up perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Because if the Democrats get back in control, they're just going to go right forward. If they have enough leverage to get done with what the direction they want it to go, it'll happen pretty quickly when everybody else is dragging their feet with Boss. We can't even get the confirmations done to fill out the rest of the government positions. They're still playing those games themselves. Oh, yeah. Another little clip here because they did have testimony this week, even though it might have been overshadowed with a whole bunch of stuff happening around the world itself. A couple of important pieces here from another guy talking about the Border Patrol.
How did the Biden administration's open border policies impact the spread of political Islam in the United States?
We were mandated to look the other way under prosecutorial discretion. We released known terrorists where we didn't know it until after the fact. But we had multiple people from all across the world coming into the United States with falsified documents, specifically from Iran, who'd come in with Venezuelan documents under the guise that we would not be able to identify them, which was the case. And that's why later on, Representative Gonzalez was able to, through a FOIA, find out how many on the non-disclosed docket of the criminal illegal aliens that we released There were, and I think there's a little over 600,000 of them that Border Patrol and ICE released during that time period.
How did
Only 600,000. Only they let back in. They were told to, or in their particular district. This is not all of the district, just his little district that he's referencing down there. So yeah, it's pretty bad when they're having directed from the upper government. That's what he says, to let these people go. We don't care if they're known terrorists. Even Jose Barrera of Becerra of California over there is like, we're going to do an assembly line for children into California for migrants, is what his quote was that just came out. So yeah, he's got some issues too, but we'll get to that one later.
Henry Ford would be rolling over in his grave right now. Something along those lines his post was talking about. And remember, you're talking about processing, and I think that video was, I don't know if that was just about illegals in general. That one may have been about children. Hulk, with the one we was talking about, the conveyor line, essentially. We need to run this thing faster. When I go to Congress and they're asking me how much money we're spending, I need to show them big numbers and this, that. I mean, it's just disgusting.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a conveyor belt as it coming into the party itself. So that was going on over there. A little daisy chain stuff on that. I ran by this because Jeff Clark, who was a U.S. attorney who got his law license punched a couple of days ago. They yanked it from him out of California, if I believe. And now our administration here is starting to get involved, the Trump administration, and the number 3 at the DOJ has spoken out against this weaponization against Jeff Clark, who brought evidence of cheating and stuff happening where? Oh, yeah, that's right, Georgia. Where specifically? Fulton County. So we can kind of get the idea what's happening of they charging him to remove his law license out of California. So now he can't practice law in the United States. So now this is interesting because the person that pulled his license over here, he's all, hey, what's your favorite Bible verse? Wrong answer only. You want to read that comment from him?
Sure.
This is the DC ethics bar.
Ethics bar. Yeah. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, hotty, hotty, like a bag of tackies. I'm the shit. I'm the shit. Very
And this guy has said a bunch of nasty stuff in here. So yeah, he's a DC bar ethics enforcer under scrutiny for inflammatory social media posts. There's a whole bunch of them that are out there. I don't think I got the other one over here. Did I?
Eric
No,
W.
I didn't. I didn't get that one there. So pay attention to those guys because this is our number 3 over here, Stanley Woodward, who this is his first time of ever using Twitter, was on the 13th of that day when they're talking about the weaponization against Jeff Clark. Would you like to read the tweet, Mr. Space Shot?
I would too, but I just want to add a point. I'm pretty sure this is the same guy. There's so many people and so many different things, and so many people this has even happened to with removing your law license. But I'm believing, if I read the article and remembering properly, he wrote like a draft, and I don't think he ever even actually sent out the paper that they're basically came down on him about. So that draft of all that fraud that he uncovered, it was like a draft, as far as I understand. That it was actually never like officially sent out. If I'm getting the same story correct, which I believe I am. But Stanley Woodward Jr., is that like Woodward as in like Woodward and Birdstein? I think it is.
I'm not sure.
1 year ago, I quoted President Teddy Roosevelt during my confirmation hearing. Quote, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat." Hello?
Yeah, you're there. You dropped out for a second. Go ahead.
This past year, we have dared greatly. We have pursued this administration's priorities and achieved much. But there is much yet to do. We have 2 years, 251 days. Justice Department and Todd Blanche. Interesting, huh?
So, yeah, he's marking down how many days they have in there, that being number 3 of your DOJ out there. So, yeah, and you can see he's not all that active over here because he started on the 13th. So he's also talking about the stuff against Jeff Clark over here and his last thing. So we'll see. So it says the DC bar would no longer be permitted to probe sensitive executive branch deliberations and target executive branch officials with whom they happen to have politically disagree. The federal attorneys will once again be free to share their candid legal advice with their bosses and colleagues. So you can't get the judges in there and go, what did he say? What was he telling his boss? No, you get to figure it all out in the end once the court case is all done. So those are interesting things that he's come out to speak out against. What else do we got here? Oh, yeah. Here, read this for everybody. This is great news.
The Supreme Court unanimously ruled that federal law does not shield freight brokers from state negligence lawsuits when they hire unsafe trucking companies. Ooh, does that mean like, people falling out of the truck drunk and illegal and fake licenses?
Yeah, all those sort of things with the illegal immigrants, because the low-cost brokers were using illegal immigrants and they were cheating the rules and basically causing a lot of accidents and not having proper insurance and everything that's along with it. This thing came out and says now you could sue those brokers now and the trucking companies themselves. So which means more of the lawyers out there chasing ambulances will be chasing trucks out here. So that should make the roads a little bit safer, but it will make a lot of the lower end carriers pretty much disappear if they can't compete. So I just thought that was interesting. The Supreme Court decided on that. And here, read this for everybody, Mr. Space Shot.
And while I got the microphone, thank you to Dawn
Give me
M.
quick
West.
30 seconds.
Sure. Dawn M. West for gifting out a subscription to the channel over here on Rumble. I do appreciate that. Mike Davis, and yeah, I get that feeling too. Quote, she's pissing everyone off, said Mike Davis, former chief counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee for Nominations, now ahead of the Article 3 Project, an advocacy group that helps secure confirmation of President Trump's 3 court nominees. The 6 Republican-appointed justices are sticking together as much as they are because of her. She is having the opposite effect of what the Democrats intended. The biggest loser in Justice Jackson's tenure is Elena Kagan. Mike Davis of Article 3 told me. Why? Because she's going to be writing dissents for the rest of her life. Dude, this is great. And Tron, remember, this is the woman who couldn't tell us what a man or a woman was, right? Like,
she's not a biologist teacher. She's just a black court justice. That's fine. Highest education, highest court of the land. But yes, men and women, we have to, disagree on that. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. And sometimes you have to show the public. You can't tell them. I mean, this is incredible.
It's laughable even, and some of the old cases and things that she was pushing, it's very much in the light of RBG or RGB, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. The greatest hide and seek champion of this millennium. I mean, she was a hologram. She was disappearing. She was glitching out like Neo in the Matrix. And yeah, man, this is just it's actually scary that she has that much power. And again, we have to show them we don't have a country left unless we have that law, baby. Real law.
All right.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
Baby.
Hulk, you remember when they told us Ruth Bader Ginsburg was dead on Fox News like a year ahead of time?
Yeah, 2 years. Year and a half. It was forever, dude. They had the whole splash and everything, the screenshot, green earrings. I remember it.
Rest in
the
peace.
off-market drugs. Yeah, I remember that conversation out there. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with this going on over here at the Supreme Court because she's going to be writing dissents for the rest of her life, the little activist out there. So, yeah, good luck. Oh, my God. Let's keep going. So the other thing is the raid into DNI's office over here, Tulsi Gabbard. This is false. The CIA did not raid the DNI's office. You guys obviously heard this from Jesse Waters, who basically deleted the post, right?
Oh, yeah. And then, so did it happen, though? Because, I'm looking at the comment below. It says, it wasn't raided, fine, but did the CIA seize documents that were under the possession of ODNI?
Yes.
Or was Erdman lying?
Yes.
So, yeah, they
did
right?
go over there and take the boxes, but it wasn't a raid. It was, you got to remember, DNI is over the CIA and everything that's out there. So the DNI collected the boxes from archive and we're going through them. They were set there in the office itself. For whatever reason, the CIA came in and said, these 40 boxes out of all this entire room right here, we have to take these 4 associated with some of the JFK files and some of the MK Ultra stuff. And we took those things back, and they're going to go back for a review. Now, the rest of the Republican Party out there, they got 24 hours to return them. This is Radcliffe CIA here at this point. You know what I mean? So at this point, I do trust him, what he is doing, and some of the D-class stuff that they want to get out and done. But that JFK thing is a real sensitive idea, because they've been still talking about some of the assets who could be still alive and naming names, and some people, I don't care, let them all come out, which I'm totally fine for. But, it would be pretty bad if it came out that, if Israel or another country assassinated one of our presidents at one time.
That's
so
perfect.
That would be bad. That would be bad to happen.
The truth. It's called tough shit. Let's rip off that Band-Aid. If they have, this is why we're here. They have to bring all this out. And this is another reason why, whether this is real or fake, is drawing attention to it. And we need answers. If Israel's, combined in there, and then that also wraps in how our CIA is also wrapped into Israel. Like, I think the world's ready for it. Like, TikTok 2028, baby, let's go. JD Vance, if you're expecting JD Vance to complete the plan, that's not going to happen. So nope. DJT, drop the bomb. Israel, let's go. October 7th, go-karts, 9/11. Let's just rip this band. Go-karts. Mad Max Part 2, right, Hulk? Let's go.
I want bumper cars on Mad Max.
Go-karts. He's got the go-karts with the industrial fans.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so great. What else do we got to get into? Let's get to what talking point she said.
You also have some news coming out of the CIA that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so we were actually just notified that the CIA went in and took documents out of ODNI, multiple boxes pertaining to the JFK files as well as MK Ultra. The reason why this is troubling is there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK Ultra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed, and so very troubling. I did just talk to Chairman Comer, and we are sending in the next hour or so a preservation of documents request to the CIA. I have calls into the White House, to the director of the CIA himself, and so obviously as this develops, we'll keep everyone up to date, but strange.
So yeah, interesting things coming, but I don't think it's a bad thing right off the bat. Not until we get closer to the finish line.
No, it's more exposure.
I just think it's more associated with the Grand Rico thing of why they're kind of pulling this stuff back, because they're not quite ready to release it.
No, but
Isn't that like with everything? Like, think about it. We only get a little bit of everything. It comes in, it comes back out. We're still waiting for the Book of Enoch and the UFO and missing scientists and researchers. They're getting us 20%, 30%, little more at a time. And this is, like Space Shot said, is building up to something much, much bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here come up shortly. There's our deleted tweet right there. So yeah, Jesse Waters deleted his tweet where he said, because I had to go ask Gork, who's the first one that said it? And it came out of Jesse Waters the night before, just in case everybody was keeping score out there. Long as we're keeping score out there, Minnesota House fraud drops an 84-page final report accusing Walz of basically culture of tolerance and let fraudsters steal $9 billion in Medicaid and $300 million in meal programs. So the report's out from the state itself saying, yeah, dude, we got huge problems. And everybody knows JD Vance is now head of the fraud task force, which is that the next one right here? Oh, no, that's not it. We'll get to that one over there. He's head of the fraud task force, and they're over in Maine today. They were giving speeches out there. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing that we might be able to flip over there with that whole marijuana and stealing FEMA funds and, yeah, all those great stuff that was going on in Maine. Interesting stories.
Dude, and just really quick, Hulk, can anybody give me one valid reason besides exposing this fraud that's in Minnesota? Why in the world would anybody make that guy your running mate if you were genuinely trying to run for president and win? So again, I look at this whole thing like there's no way in hell anybody on this planet had this guy in your bingo card. Like, oh yeah, he's going to be the VP nominee for sure. Nobody did. And so again, I ask people why. And then, a few months later after this, Trump gets in there, we start noticing, oh my God, crazy amounts of fraud. Where this guy's the governor, just by coincidence. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
they needed money to run for the election with Kamala Harris. Remember, they were out of money. Hakeem's Jeffrey, they're negative $2 million. They don't have any more money to go throw around in any one of these midterms because they spent it all over the redistricting. And they told them, dude, you're going to shoot your wad on this. We don't recommend to push this. And they said, push it anyways. We're going to fight back because California is already doing their Prop 50, which is going to have some issues here very shortly. But they went ahead and did it anyways. And the Supreme Court overruled them. So, yeah, rule of law.
And the NGOs, a lot of those are defunded now. And as you played earlier, I think you played it, if not, it was a different show, Dr. Oz and them talking about the fraud, crazy amounts of fraud. Nobody even made a call back to be like, no, we're really doing
bananas
business.
and rice.
Bananas
cost
and rice.
a lot.
That's right, Somalis. What else do we got? Okay, this is in the beginning for the CIA spokesperson over here for the whistleblower that was coming out talking about a lot of stuff. Any of you two want to read that?
I'll take a crack. Liz Lyons, the committee acted in bad faith by subpoenaing an agency officer for testimony today without notifying CIA. Despite having already obtained closed-door testimony from the individual previously, the witness testifying today is not appearing as a whistleblower in pursuit of the truth, but instead in response to the subpoena issued by Chairman Paul. This proceeding amounts to nothing more than dishonest political theater masquerading as a congressional hearing, as the CIA has already assessed COVID-19 most likely originated from a lab leak, and efforts to undermine that conclusion are disingenuous.
So, in short, the CIA wasn't very happy and said that this guy who showed up to testify, we're going to play a little bit over here, who said he was a representative of the CIA, and since he didn't file with the CIA as being a whistleblower and go through the whistleblower protections, he evaded that and went directly to Congress talking to Grassley and the rest of the guys and Rand Paul. And Rand Paul had him scheduled to come in with their full-on Senate stuff that they have over there, which I find quite interesting that they're coming out opposite of it. So again, the CIA does have some problems with itself. So let's get into some of the clips.
And I want to give you a little color that we're getting from the CIA just now. They are not happy with the way this hearing is going down. They are accusing Senator Rand Paul and the Senate Homeland Security Committee of, quote, acting in bad faith in putting this hearing together. They say this witness in there isn't a whistleblower. They say he hasn't sought any whistleblower protections. They said he's in that room right now because the committee subpoenaed him, compelled him to come in and testify, and the CIA says they weren't given a heads up about this. The committee didn't go through the proper channels, and they provided Fox News a statement. It says in part, quote, the committee acted in bad faith by subpoenaing an agency officer for testimony today without notifying CIA. Despite having already obtained closed-door testimony from the individual previously, the witness testifying today is not appearing as a whistleblower in pursuit of the truth, but instead in response to the subpoena issued by Chairman Paul. This proceeding amounts to nothing more than a dishonest political theater masquerading as a congressional hearing. As the CIA has already assessed, COVID-19 most likely originated from a lab leak, and efforts to undermine that conclusion are disingenuous. Well, Harris, as Senator Rand Paul was walking into that hearing room this morning, again, he chairs this committee. I told him about that CIA statement and told him they're accusing him of operating in bad faith. I asked him to respond to that. Here's what he said. The CIA says the committee acted in bad faith with this hearing. They just sent out a statement. Your response to that?
I think transparency is good. I think we overclassify everything. Congress passed a law to unanimously declassify all of the COVID information. We all want to know the truth. Where did it come from? Why has it taken so long for people to admit to it? Now almost every agency admits that it did come from the lab, but they still haven't been forthcoming. There's no reason to have secrets on this. We want them to obey the law. The CIA needs to obey the law, and they need to reveal the information.
And I want to give you...
Yeah, there's fights going along in the intelligence community as we're marching forward with some old information from years ago talking about COVID-19 and where it came from. But they're really targeting the CIA and how they really integrated with social media to suppress the talking points, that whole thing. They're going that direction kind of with it. So it's along the lines of the same thing we ran into,
Awesome.
which I found interesting.
Dude, I love that. Can you go back to that one? Go back to that one for just one quick second there. I just want to see here. All right, so this guy again. Why are we doing this? In my opinion, repeats are necessary, right? Well, wait, the CIA is not happy. What do they got? A civil war going on inside the CIA? As Hulk had mentioned earlier, John Ratcliffe.
Venezuela's gone.
Yeah, some people question his, allegiance. I don't at this point, but are there different factions inside the CIA that are pushing and pulling? I clearly can demonstrate from what we're seeing right here, right? But again, they already got his testimony on record, but then he came back to do it publicly. The only reason you're doing that is to bring it to the masses, baby. I love it.
Yeah. So just find it interesting. I guess a little bit. I'll play a little bit from him.
Good morning, Chairman Paul and other members of the Oversight Committee. Thank you for the complimentary introduction, and I appreciate the committee's dedication.
Yeah, enough of the appreciation.
I'm here today to discuss the COVID cover-up, the national security implications associated with the DIG's investigative findings, and CIA refusal to comply with lawful oversight, as well as how we remedy these problems.
Yeah, there's your nutshell right there. Oh, COVID lab leak, right? That's what they came out and said. That was CIA. So
did the guy over his shoulder have like a bad breakfast? Because he looks like he's about to shart himself the whole time.
Look at this guy over here on the right, dude. So yeah,
he's having a ball.
A lot of testimony.
Hey, that's Durham on Ozempic. You might want to check that out.
Yeah, I think. You sure he's still alive?
Don't fact check us on that.
What else do we got here? Okay, this is the other thing we wanted to get into for the Havana syndrome, and then the whole whistleblower thing in regards to the Venezuela money that they were supposed to get the $50 million to go get Maduro over there, and they had the full on. She has a full report out here that she came out with showing like the maps and the 20 miles worth of tunnels and a whole bunch of other stuff. I just thought that was interesting itself. But again, this is her pointing out that early in January began receiving credible reporting that Gabbard investigation team was being tracked and communicated collections because of their work was revealing uncomfortable facts. Today, James Erdman alleged the CIA alleged the Congress and the CIA allegedly spied on computers and phones belonging to the director initiative groups. So the CIA is technically spying on the DNI, is what Catherine Herridge is saying.
Dude, they should just go right back over there to CIA with, whoever you got to do for law enforcement and be like, yeah, we're taking the shit back. You guys are under me. This is not how it works. So, and then people would wonder, like, wait, where is John Ratcliffe? And where is President Trump calling out John Ratcliffe and saying, hey, John, what's going on here? Or is this part of how it's all supposed to be laid out? I don't know. I'm just, putting out data points.
He's busy in Cuba today, but we'll get to that story. What else do we got? Okay, another one is they got this dude talking bad a bit against Trump. He's not in the White House. He's kind of in one of the associated buildings that kind of run some of the administration, not a high-level guy whatsoever. But again, this just shows that they're running into more of these people that are trying to obstruct the administration and basically keeping their own narrative. Even though Trump or the administration says to do this, they're still slowing it down as much as possible because it says it feels like a good idea. There's no cost benefit, reveals White House staffer. Independently shaped domestic policy based on their own opinion is basically what they're doing. And back over here, the government has put him on a suspension here at this point for his comments that he's made already. But James O'Keefe, who's normally a Republican base, has been asking access for the White House. And what do you think the White House said for his press passes for the rest of this team? Nope, you can't have them. Sorry. Yeah, we got problems. So James O'Keefe's group's kind of on the shit list in the White House, and they can't get in there. They've been trying for the last week
Why do
because
you think?
Because they're picking up. James O'Keefe is running across the rhinos over there, and obviously news would look bad. We don't want these things asked inside the Brady press room. So yeah, they're not giving him any of those White House press passes to get back on there for the entire team for James O'Keefe.
And I wonder if you have, somebody like this guy in a position like that to who gives out the press passes and who decides yes or no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it is people inside the White House. I can't say it's Carvin Levitt or any of those group out there, but I guarantee there's a list out there. And they said they're normally got fast responses about, here's your press pass. We'll ship it to you. It takes days to get an answer out of these people. That's after all this stuff has come out, because they picked out a couple of more. And he says he's got another one in the holster that's coming, which doesn't look good for those people on the Trump administration doing the rhino thing. So I'm not saying that's Trump himself doing it or the administration. They're just deep state people still in their little rat holes. So that's going on. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. You remember the whole Jack Smith debacle? I don't know if any of you guys picked this up. I'm going to allow John Solomon to say it.
Meanwhile, the world has been talking about a story that we broke overnight. Documents we got from Kash Patel's FBI reveal something a little troubling, something we didn't know. Let's remind everybody what we were told at the time. In January 2025, when President Trump was about to take his second oath of office and return to the White House, we were told that Jack Smith went to the court and dismissed all those criminal cases. Well, there's a little wrinkle to it. First off, he did not dismiss them with prejudice, meaning that they were dismissed without prejudice and they could be brought back again. But more troubling is what we learned inside the FBI's files. The FBI created a memo laying out how they could resume the case as soon as President Trump returned or left office in 2029, and they extended the retention of the evidence, something that normally doesn't happen. When you close down a case in the FBI, you're supposed to give back the evidence, disband it, erase it, and be done with it. But not when it came to Donald Trump. Nope. In the Arctic Frost investigation, the one involving January 6th, the FBI extended its hold on its evidence to 2030, 2 years after President Trump will have left office. All the markings of a plan or a plot to set up the president to be indicted anew on these old charges after he leaves office. The documents are up at justthenews.com. Members of Congress have been reacting all day to this story.
So they rat-holed information to set him up after he left office to run the same game again. Remember when Kash Patel came out and said that they ran the same playbook again? And he says, I'm not talking about the last election. I'm talking about right now.
Yep, they're running it still to this day. Yep, they're never going to give up. They're not going to ever throw the towel in for good. Never.
So then, here, you can read this for everybody.
Cover up. Biden is suing the DOJ to block release of 70 hours of recordings of him reading classified documents from his time as VP. Robert Hur found the tapes and declined to prosecute because Biden was too mentally impaired to stand trial. Now Biden is legally competent enough to sue to keep those same tapes from the public. The recordings exist. Biden knows what's on them. So should America. I mean, dude, he's freaking reading documents, classified documents to this guy for a freaking book. Are you kidding me?
Yep. At the time he was VP, remember? Because that was under the Obama administration is what they're saying. So, yeah. And then talking about it with the whole book deal and stuff like that shortly thereafter. So, yeah, interesting things. Yeah, throw him out there. One more over here from Solomon.
We've got a big update to a story we brought you earlier. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche earlier today indicated that the Department of Justice would subpoena reporters as part of its probe into the leaks of a lot of classified materials. This has been going on almost daily now. We had even a senator leak some classified information earlier this week. The FBI this month opened a probe into Senate Democrats over the possible leaking of classified materials related to Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation hearings. That issue was the leak of an intercept from the National Security Agency, some of the deepest and most sensitive secrets we have. That intercept involved Gabbard. More recently, Trump has reportedly complained of rampant leaks related to the ongoing Iran war. You saw Senator Reid talking about some classified information even this past weekend. The acting attorney general said, quote, prosecuting leakers who share our nation's secrets with reporters, in turn, risking our national security and the lives of our soldiers, is a priority for this administration. Any witness whether a reporter or otherwise, who has information about these criminals should not be surprised if they receive a subpoena about the illegal leaking of classified material. Close quote.
So, yeah, more troubles for them. Wonder if Adam Schiff or what's his name, Eric Fartwell will be in there too, because they were leaking a lot of times.
People have it coming, Hulk. Like if you think about it, there's so many deep state actors at a high level, low level, some that are outside operators that don't even know what's going on, and now it's all building up to this giant case. And after all these years, man, Solomon's still going and going and going. So again, we have to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And crimes against humanity, statute of limitations, we're going to figure it out. It's going to be nice.
I think it's the RICO thing that they're coming together down there in southern Florida. I got some stories on it. Wonder what he had to say about it. Oh, yeah. You want to read the Office of DNI quote before we listen to what he has to say?
Oh, we have Legion. The same CIA director who pushed the Russia collusion hoax for years is now openly admitting there are still bureaucrats inside the intelligence community and DOJ working against a duly elected president. The deep state was never a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, let's throw it out there.
He has succeeded largely in turning DOJ and the FBI into political arms of his political operation. What still exists in the system to slow that down?
I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice.
He has succeeded.
Yeah. Whose rules? Oh, the rules that you just kind of make up, I guess. I get it.
Such a scumbag.
Orange Man bad.
It is too. And dude, I don't understand why they don't change the rules. I'm looking up ChatGPT here. It says in the United States, it's usually not illegal for journalists or media organizations to publish classified information. And of course, they're saying, the government contractor, if they broke a law, could be charged. But dude, why not make media putting out classified information illegal for national security reasons? That would solve a lot of problems, no?
What's that one dude that the general guy that got in trouble for leaking classified information before? The hell was it?
Was the guy that was the sergeant at arms?
The one that they did the video on, the one that they all talked about in the video itself and saying, disregard any unconstitutional rules
Kelly?
coming. Yeah, Kelly. Kelly came out and basically had said that our depleted stocks for weaponry is very, very low. It's only going to last so long. And if we tried to get into a war, that's when the Trump administration freaked out because he's a little too close to the truth out there. And that's leaking classified information. And they feel that's sensitive information they wouldn't want Iran to know. Those sort of things they're talking about. So they're going after him. So those types of things they're really worried about leaking out through the system itself. So, yeah, Mark Kelly. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. Here, we'll throw this out.
Reuters today is reporting on some movement out of that red string basement case out of the Southern Florida office that is headquartering this. They write this, quote, the FBI has begun interviewing current and former CIA employees as part of the Department of Justice's investigation into ex-CIA director and MS Now senior national security and intelligence analyst John Brennan over his role in an intelligence finding that Russia interfered in the 2016 U.S. election to help Donald Trump. That's according to 5 sources familiar with the matter. Employees were questioned last week by agents out of the Miami field office at CIA headquarters in McLean, Virginia. Interviews are expected to continue throughout the coming weeks, according to 3 of the sources.
You see how she delivered that in the beginning? That it's not that big of a deal. Look, this basement conspiracy theory.
Reuters today is reporting on some movement out of that.
Look at her hands, like it doesn't matter.
Case out of the Southern Florida office that is.
And it's only like the 150 subpoenas that came out of that Southern District of Florida down there that allowed testimony to be taken inside D.C.
Absolutely. Oh, Hulk, I'm just going to need 30 seconds, sir.
So they're going after him for false statements is basically what they're going for from all the stuff that they lied about in 2017, giving testimony out there. And this one's just perfect. I don't know why you're leaving. Let's go right here. He's going to the bathroom. There, we're just going to go for it. Yeah, here's this one.
People to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of the California. We are bringing historic reform.
Point of order.
But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Just as a reminder, where Cash is sitting on Mr. Adam Schiff as they're looking at the Unselect Committee and the rest of the items there.
And that's Cash Patel. That's that fire and fury. That's like us knowing for 8+ years how deep this goes. And sometimes you just got to break character. Sometimes you just got to say what you got to say. And that's a patriot right there. So shout out Cash Patel. And I believe this was from months ago in the very beginning. But man, again, Shifty Schiff has got his day coming, man. I tell you.
Yes, just want a reminder because that talk is coming back out again. What did Comey had to say about the whole situation? Because they had basically everybody on from the Intelligence Committee on the news media.
Do you still talk to employees at the FBI regularly?
I do.
And are they afraid to be talking to you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they're under siege, and I think about them a lot. I worry about them a lot, both those who are still there and those who've been thrown out while loved ones are sick, while they're struggling financially. There's a lot of pain at the FBI and the FBI community right now, but it's not going to last forever.
Do you
like they're going to hold out for another 2 years, right?
He's indicted. How are you even speaking? Like, how do you have that ability? This is why sometimes I feel like Comey is going through this charade, and Ray's going to come up next with stories of, reversing, and because this is not believable. He looks calm. He looks collective. And again, how are you still having communication? Oh, Cash Patel answers the phone. Oh, hi, it's Comey. Can you please pass the phone to Sharon? Like, how does this work? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. And how come his lawyer hasn't told him to shut up and stay off the news? Yeah, because you don't want to incriminate yourself.
In the Epstein, he told him to shut up or he's going to kill him. Remember that one? That was wild, dude.
That's right. I had forgotten about that. Yeah. Here's another interesting thing he said.
Did you ever think about asking President Biden for a preemptive pardon as Trump was coming back into office?
Never.
Do you think he would have given you one if you'd asked?
I don't know. I wouldn't have accepted it. The Supreme Court said in 1914 that the acceptance of a pardon is an admission of guilt. It's what consoled Gerald Ford when he pardoned Richard Nixon. He carried a quote from the case in his wallet till the day he died because it meant Nixon had admitted guilt. And so I'm not guilty. I am innocent, so I wouldn't be accepting any pardons.
Do you think the people that Biden did preemptively pardon are guilty of crimes?
Well, I'm just telling you what the Supreme Court said. By accepting a pardon, it's an admission of guilt. And so I hope they thought about it carefully.
He said it.
They're all screwed. Then he gives you little nuggets like that. Like he's just so, calm and collective, Mr. 8645, 8647, 8648. It doesn't work, dude. So this is fantastic. And I'm glad the CNN asked that, follow-up, like, hey, Biden, auto pen pardoned a lot of people. So What goes around comes around, man.
Yeah, what they're saying, it's not really Biden or Kamala. It was the rest of the group, the Obama group, that was really running the administration in the auto pen. What's starting to come out around the water cooler. So we're still waiting for a grand conspiracy everybody's been talking about for the last couple of years. I want to see the baby. Show the baby. I haven't seen it there yet.
I think they were saying too. Elizabeth Warren was saying she was controlling the auto pen, and I've heard that same story from various different people over the years, but apparently that's what they're saying. Elizabeth Warren controlled Biden's auto pen. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen. She has a pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this. So I don't know who this, David Sachs, the crypto czar, was saying that.
It might have been a lot of people with that pen. Let's get into some more interesting things. Read that for everybody, Mr. Space Shot.
Hulk, you don't bust the trust. You don't bust the trust. Remember that video?
Mm-hmm.
Billionaire Stephen Don't Bust the Trust Klubeck was arrested in Los Angeles this morning on charges of attempting to prevent or dissuade a witness from testifying. The arrest comes shortly after Klubeck publicly distanced himself from who? Eric who? Former Rep. Eric Swalwell, after previously backing him for California governor. Developing story, blah, blah, blah.
So this is a weird story. Let's get into the other half of this right here.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Here we go.
More breaking news as well. A former candidate for governor of California has been arrested. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Haskell joins us now with what we're learning about the charges against Stephen Klubeck. Josh.
Philip, billionaire Stephen Klubeck turned himself into the LA County Sheriff's Department at their West Hollywood station on Tuesday morning on a felony warrant for alleged violation of dissuading or intimidating a witness or a victim of a crime. Eyewitness News has learned that Klubeck was or still is romantically involved with a Los Angeles model named Adva Levi, who also goes by Mia Ventura. That is the same person we've been reporting on for months, who is accused of targeting older men on dating apps and then burglarizing their homes. According to the complaint, Klubeck attempted to prevent at least 2 alleged victims of Levi from testifying against her back in March. Now, back in March, the Los Angeles County District Attorney ordered Adva Levi to stand trial on 6 felony charges. District Attorney Nathan Hochman said her ability to deceptively influence others, whether in person or online, has now come to an end. Detectives say Levi extorted wealthy older men and younger women in Westlake Village, West Hollywood, Los Angeles, and Beverly Hills. They say she posed as a girlfriend or travel companion, then stole cash, credit cards, and high-end designer items. If convicted on all counts, Levi faces up to over 11 years in state prison. Now, Klubeck, he has been released after posting $300,000 bail. Philip?
So, yeah, trying to coerce people not to testify against your sugar baby, I guess, is the way it's going to roll down that way.
How many nose jobs does that girl have? God darn it.
Yeah, that was rough.
That thing
Yeah,
had more,
6
more
felony
shade.
charges. And 2 counts of residential burglary. That's the chick knew, and the dude was covering up for her. So that's interesting. That's Eric Stallwell's financial backer, by the way.
Don't bust the trust. And again, coincidence? Coincidence, dude?
No coincidence. Wait, there's more coming out of California here. You want to read that for everybody?
Sure would. Let's see. Eric Daughtry. Holy crap. Arcadia, California Mayor Eileen Wang just pled guilty to acting as an illegal Chinese agent. And she obtained elected office in California. Communists are everywhere, and California is a hotbed. She faces up to 10 years in prison. It was first elected in 2022 to city council. Wang reportedly spread Chinese propaganda online while in America, including when she was directed to lie that there was no genocide or forced labor in communist China. Keep busting the spies, baby.
Here's her ad.
我是王爱玲，我是2022年 Arcadia 第3区市议员候选人，我将致力于为全体市民。
Yeah.
提高企业信心，平衡预算，打击犯罪，不遗余力。请在11月8日
Yeah, vote for her. City Council.
竞选 Arcadia。
That birth tourism thing is kicking it off out in these areas.
This is only possible when people are there to vote for these people, right? I mean, this is how they set it up. I mean, this is insane. And this is why that local action, we got to keep our eyes open at that local level. But man, this is scary, dude. All of them. How many more are there when you think about it?
Well, Oakland City Mayor, the same thing happened, being tied into that. And then the deputy mayor, whatever, is the person below there, tried to cover it all up. So they arrested him too. And then the underlings and the finance. So like 4 or 5 people, all China, CCP, all ruining Oakland, California. So yeah, it's happening a lot more.
Farmland. I thought China owning farmland was bad. This is 10 times worse, man.
Yeah. And the other one was, what was it? The 1,000 Talents program that the treasurer for CalPERS of California, the big investment fund, he was a CCP guy, and he was investing like $40 billion of teachers and pension money into Chinese military. And he left the country. Yeah. So yeah, interesting things. Yeah, let's keep going because there's more coming.
Fox News alert, a California Democrat just admitted to being a Chinese spy. Christina Coleman has the latest. Christina.
Hi, Jesse. California Democrat Eileen Wang resigned as mayor of Arcadia as part of her plea deal. She's now charged with acting as an illegal agent of the People's Republic of China. Prosecutors say between 2020 and 2022, 4 years before she was sworn in as mayor, she worked at the direction and control of Chinese government officials.
They feel like that there is an open door invitation in these sanctuary cities. It's not just China. This is North Korea. This is Russia. This is our adversaries all over the place that's using the political theater that the Democrats have drawn as a point of weakness to be able to infiltrate our communities.
Federal authorities say.
Give me the control back. So yeah, more of these are coming out here because the fraud investigation's only coming in. Your guys' comments and chat are absolutely funny. Don't read them right now. You'll laugh. I wonder if they got your chat too. Did they get your chat too?
Yeah, dude. I love a nice Chinese buffet. My mom introduced me as a young child to Chinese buffets, and they get scared when I walked in, dude. I loved it. Mandarin oranges, kung pao, egg rolls, dude, wontons.
Dirty Carpenter, the quote goes, it's all you can eat, but not all at one time.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
Okay, now this is interesting. Space Shot, you want to take a crack at that?
You be here for an hour. You eat all food. You go now. Former California mayor became the CEO of Act Blue. She loosened compliance standard to facilitate illegal campaign contributions. Act Blue took in a record $568 million in the first 3 months of 2026 alone. It's because of this fraud they were able to do it. The new Act Blue CEO facilitated the removal of CVV requirements. Act Blue stopped requiring the 3-digit security code on the back of credit cards for donations. This lowered security and made it easier for prepaid cards and gift card fraudulent donations. This is how they orchestrate dark money, quote, smurfing, which is breaking large sums into small ones, many small ones. Reports of elderly Americans, especially in Connecticut, are seeing unauthorized small donations in their names. One cybersecurity researcher identified $2 million in suspicious donations tied to just 18 Connecticut residents, many of them elderly and retired. This is money laundering. Marco Rubio is now bringing allegations that the new lax rules enabled money laundering, foreign donations, and fake identities using prepaid cards. The new CEO who changed the requirement is Regina Wallace-Jones, the former mayor of East Palo Alto, California. She's also a tech executive with experience at Facebook and Meta. Big surprise. No coincidences. This was orchestrated money laundering and illegally taking in foreign money for Democrats. Dude, it's so stacked.
Yeah, this Act Blue thing needs to be exposed a lot more than it already has. I know that they're looking at it and it's just going to take a while, but yeah. I'm ready to see some justice on that because they're losing money here at this point, and I'm not sure how the Democrats are getting hold of any of this Act Blue money because the entire board resigned, and then they got somebody else to run it here at this point. So It's going to be interesting. I agree with Rico. Oh yeah, this is very, very interesting. Spacia, I want to take a crack at that one too.
His name was Rico. Hey, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff pled guilty to money laundering and tax fraud. Dana Williamson, Newsom's chief of staff in 22 and 24, appeared in court in Sacramento to plead guilty to counts of conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, subscribing to a false tax return, and making false statements. She's accused of being the ringleader for a plan to siphon $225,000 from a dormant campaign account belonging to Javier Becerra, who was a leading candidate for governor, to pay for her own personal expenses. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of California, Williamson, who was charged with 23-count federal indictment alleging conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, defrauding the United States, obstructing justice, filing false returns, and lying to authorities. Williamson also allegedly falsely claimed personal expenses as business deductions, including thousands on Chanel and Fendi bags, an HVAC unit for her home, and even a $150,000 trip to Mexico for her birthday. Sean McCluskey, Becerra's former chief of staff, and lobbyist Greg Campbell also pled guilty to charges related to the thefts. So he had some inside help, huh?
So remember, the investigation's not done here, and she's already pleaded guilty to these charges that are the allegations underneath the Biden administration that wanted to charge Gavin Newsom, Becerra, and this lady, all with this fraud they were doing, because when Becerra came into the new job for Attorney General, she couldn't stay on. So he's like, why don't you go work for Gavin over here? And she's like, I'm not going to make enough money for Gavin Newsom over there. And they came up with the plan. We'll just take the money out of your campaign funds and then we'll move it over to the nonprofit and backhaul it to the other side so then you can get paid and then you can work for Gavin Newsom, which lasted for a couple of months until Biden's FBI came knocking on the door and charged her. And then they hid it for an entire year before it came out.
Whoopsie daisy.
That's the story on that one.
All coming out.
So where's our lawyer guy? Nope. Let's see what he has to say here. Because again, here.
Operating in some sort of investigation on other political or elected officials, then what exactly happened to knock down so many counts? Like, were there problems with discovery? Like, how did you get to this point?
I'm a good lawyer. Well, listen, I want to say that we had extremely respectful and cordial communications and negotiations back and forth. Matt and I made multiple presentations to the government. And at the end of the day, this is what they offered us. Now, I will say that they put together a very comprehensive investigation. They have a mountain of evidence. And at the end of the day, sometimes what you have to do for your client is negotiate the best deal that you can. And if we felt that we had a shot at a jury trial, we would have taken it. But we had to take the deal that was offered to us. And that deal was based on a lot of back and forth. And at the end of the day, this is what they felt they could offer to us to resolve the case well short of the setting of a trial date.
He also said that she is not giving forth evidence against the Gavin Newsom or Xavier Becerra. Why he would come out and say that specifically, I find quite interesting, because there's still some ongoing investigations going into that particular fraud that he's tied into.
Maybe they're doing that to keep her alive. She's not cooperating. Don't kill her.
Well, unless there's some sort of deal back there that puts more grievance onto these two over here is interesting. Yeah, how did he do with talking with the news over here? That's just so great that he allowed that to happen, because he was part of the Biden administration, and I can't remember exactly. I don't know if he was DHS or HHS or something. I can't remember, but yeah, they were one of the group that was covering for the migrants that they couldn't find.
Yep, he was Health and Human Services, and he was a congressman before, and I like him because of the clip when he kept talking to the IRS number 2 about the voluntary system of taxation. I just thought that was very weird for a representative to reiterate that point twice during the same conference.
Yeah, that is an interesting talking point there. So that's going on. What else do we got here for you, too? Kevin Walsh has been confirmed by the U.S. Senate to be next chairman of the Federal Reserve. 54 to 45. Jerome Powell is basically going to stay on. He's still going to be the lead until the board picks a new governor themselves. Person leaving is Stephen I. Moran, submits his resignation, basically to make room for the guy that's coming on there. So this gentleman is out. I'm not sure exactly who he is. I don't know most of the board members that are on there, but they are replacing the members that are out there. So he's going to have to deal with this new group here. And Tron, I don't know where to put a lot of this stuff out here for the inflation surging coming up here. I don't know if you followed any of this in this last week.
Not too much, but I know that things are costing more, and that's one of the main objectives is getting that lowered as gasoline is kind of increasing as well. And remember, this is vacation time back. I mean, Hulk, RVs, I mean, more RVs now or less, probably less because of gasoline and whatnot. So we got to get things. And this is kind of funny. It's like our bank accounts are low and our 401ks are amazing, but you can't touch it yet. You know, it's like that golden trophy is behind the glass. But we'll just see what happens with that, because it's again, depending on where you live, especially like California, you guys are insane. And food in Florida, like you don't have the property tax, but food increase is a little bit more. So this is becoming a necessity to get your own gardens ready right now. Plant those tomatoes, plant those potatoes, and start harvesting.
Yeah. So again, it's saying inflation rose 5.2% above the expected 4.3. So we're at a 3-year high. What else do we got in here? Oh, the biggest reversal in the entire history of the U.S. stock market. $11 trillion has been added to the U.S. stock market in 45 days.
Yeah, look at that. Dude, Nvidia's 38%. Like, that's just insane. Like, this is. And again, going back to Liberation Day when Boss said now would be a time to buy stocks when everything was down 30%, and literally reverse in the upside. And not only Nvidia, like the AMD is absolutely crazy. Intel, holy cow, Intel is up ridiculous amounts. And again, Boss gives us a little bit of hints, but this is bringing it back. And this is another reason why Boss had that plane loaded with the best of the best. I mean, we mean business right now. Peace deal. Let's go.
Yeah. So Nvidia makes up 38% of the entire stock market. That's crazy.
That's nuts. That's almost like illegal. That's like a monopoly on everything.
Too big to fail. Remember in the housing market, it was like a quarter of that.
And we still can't buy RAM or hard drives, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here, money supply is skyrocketing. Global money supply is now up to a record of $121 trillion over the past 2 years. The money supply soared $17 trillion, or up 16%. This also marks a 27 trillion increase, or 28% since 2022 low. So just look at that, just climb up there, just keep printing that money, right? Because we got to pay bills, so we're under contract.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. 17.1 trillion, huh?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. What was this here? Oh, yeah. Evidently, we have a problem with some of the farmers out there that can't get some of their wheat sold. So this particular brand of hard red wheat, which I don't know exactly how it's being used, is being abandoned on the Great Plains because nobody's buying it. So basically, as 37% of planted acreage reported in March, prospective planting reports means that U.S. farmers this year will harvest their smallest wheat crop since 1972. So it doesn't look good. Obviously, we have a pullback, but the prices on this wheat went through the roof, which I found interesting. So, yeah, it's going up. So we'll see what the food prices
steaks,
do.
Forget about it. Chicken is the new steak in my supermarket. And again, do what you can, but it's going to come down. Boss met with Brazil. I think they stormed out as well, and we get a lot of the beef from there. But average ground beef in U.S., $6.90 per pound. Oh my goodness, that's probably that good stuff. And there it is, guys. Exceeded $7 per pound in history. And this is meat. Remember, you'll eat nothing and be happy. They try to push that beyond meat, and now we have to go to chicken. But ground beef has doubled since 2013. That is, and this is where you have to go to like the farm and actually deal out a cow, half a cow, split some with your neighbors and get smart, buy in bulk. But that's insane. I love meat, and we can't do it.
You could cut off what you want and ride the rest home. But this is also on the end of the Biden administration pushing the beef producers to slaughter early at the 2 or 3 year mark and not waiting for new herds to be bred, which basically kicked a huge market right in the face. And again, we're down, I think, down to like 40% of our beef market, like it was 6-8 years ago. So it's going to take a while to climb back up there. It's going to be till the end of Trump's administration before beef prices come back around. And that whole thing that you guys were looking at Costco coming out with that particular thing saying that more people are buying canned chicken and all that. Did you guys see that thing going around?
No, really?
Yeah.
Why? It's cheaper than, it's probably cheaper, right?
Well, it had come out because Costco buys stuff in bulk, and there was a post that somebody alleging that Costco had switched from beef markets over to canned chicken in some markets to supply subsistence for people that were there. And everybody's playing off. Look, the recession's coming and stuff. And I went and looked in that post that came out in 2022. So you got to pay attention to where the posts come from. I hate fact checking that shit. It drives me up the wall.
Breaking news. Oh, God.
Yeah. So that's that. Again, you want to read that for everybody, Mr. Space Shot?
U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve is being drained at a record pace. U.S. released more than 1.23 million barrels per day from the SPR last week, highest weekly volume on record. In a few weeks, the SPR has released 31 million barrels roughly, with the current release rate leaving roughly 117 days of supply remaining before the 172 million barrel emergency loan authorized by President Trump on March 11, 2026 as a part of a coordinated release of 400 million barrels across more than 30 IEA member nations is fully exhausted. Once fully released, SPR would stand at just 242 million barrels, the lowest level since the early 1980s. The oil market does not have a printing press, and the SPR is not a permanent solution. SPR.
So, yeah, that's our special petroleum reserve. It's our the stuff that we hold in case of war, and we're putting that back out on the market and selling it to other countries and feeding domestic markets at the same time. So we're draining our petroleum reserves is what they're pointing out right there.
I thought Biden did that already.
Yeah, they did it too. And then Trump's continuing on right now. That was just recently that he had set that up out there. What was this one? We could skip that for now. Yeah, LNG. Oh, we're going to talk about data centers for a little bit here because some people are running into particular issues with this. There's one in Arkansas, which is, again, totally on the black market and nobody's talking about it. We're going to play a little bit of this and then we'll show you some of the other stories that ran by.
Yeah, Chris, for a while now, people living in Conway have demanded more transparency from the city about this data center proposal. Pages of what the city knows was given to residents.
We're going to go to the reading part of this.
Dude,
one of the latest.
DEI, bro.
John, you want to read some right there?
Guys, one of the latest projects in Conway, Arkansas history is being planned. It's massive 336-acre, 300,000 square foot data center costing over $1 billion. It's shrouded in secrecy. Residents aren't allowed to know who's building it. The developer is Forelight Ventures, acting on behalf of an unnamed Fortune 100 company. Wall Street Apes looked into this and found residents are not happy about it. Over 100 residents showed up demanding for transparency. So many residents showed up that they couldn't fit in the room. So the room only held 80 people. The company's identity, full environmental impact studies, noise and light pollution details, backup generators, sounds and specs, and long-term effects remain a secret. Americans are just expected to be quiet and take it. You don't get to know what's in your own town. And they're doing this everywhere, dude. Like, again, city council meetings, get in there, be active, and maybe get behind the camera at ABC, wherever that is. Holy cow, that dude's got a big head and a weird delivery system for news. Where'd everyone go?
I think Hulk's muted.
Yeah, I was like,
oh, I am muted. I'm sorry. So again, we had the Fetus, Missouri, a town of about 14,000 people. The city council quietly approved a $6 billion AI data center to be built on 360 acres just north of Highway 67. The residents say they never got properly heard, the meeting, all that sort of thing. And guess what? They freaking voted the entire council out, and they're trying to throw out the decision by these lawmakers that have decided this particular AI data center here. So let's see if they can overturn their particular issue they're running into, even though the city council had already authorized it. And that brings in Mr. Wonderful over here, which is building a 62 square mile data center in the northern part of Utah that will use 9 gigawatts. That's twice the amount of energy that the state uses right now. How they're going to get all this power and where it's coming from, and they could do the infrastructure and build everything, but to get these things powered, you'd have to turn off the other a state. You couldn't even build enough small nuclear reactors that they're talking about to even power this data center. I was looking at over at Amazon, they're building a big one back east somewhere, and the people realized that they asked for 161 diesel generators, and they're going to keep 27 million gallons of diesel on location to run their data center. That's just Amazon.
Damn.
That's crazy. So yeah, here's what he had to say about the situation. Throw this out.
I would think, since you disagree with the Chinese way of life, which is pretty civilized in a lot of ways, but the one way in which it's barbaric is that it grants its citizens no real rights. And so I would think that you would be very worried about aping their system, which we are now doing. They have total surveillance. It's panopticon in China. We should create our own. Let's take 40,000 acres in Utah and make it possible for the government to know where you are at all times and what you're thinking, listening to you on your phone. Like, we have that.
You have to choose the less of two evils in your scenario. And I'm telling you, what you should do is say, I want Kevin O'Leary to succeed. I want him to beat the Chinese in compute power. Then use the laws of the United States to make sure that you keep that compute power in check. To not have it available, to put down my shovel. I don't think people want me to do that. Even the people in Box Elder, the majority of them want me to hold my shovel and start digging.
There was a referendum among citizens?
3-0. The commissioners of the county said, we want to be
3 people voted. The people of the county.
They're elected officials. That's how you do it. There's
How
no other
hard
way
is
to
it
do it.
for Kevin O'Leary and Amazon and Microsoft and Google to subvert 3 county commissioners in rural Utah?
Tucker, they asked us to come. They asked us to bring $15 billion. There's no other way to
Amazon,
do
Google,
it.
and Kevin O'Leary got 3 county commissioners in rural Utah on their side. Good work.
Yep, that's how the game is played, guys. So yeah, coming to a local area near you.
Hey, we'll pay you a couple $1 million just for a little yes vote, if you don't mind. I mean, they're dropping $15 billion on these systems. What's it called? $3 million, even $10 million to drop on a bribe for these people.
Yeah, exactly. So Colorado's got a decision to make here very shortly. You want to read that one?
Oh my God, it's true. 49,000 residents, mostly on the California side of Lake Tahoe, are losing access to 75% of their electricity supply after May of 27. The power is being given to data centers. This even affects their ski resorts and casinos. Liberty Utilities buys 25% of its power from its own Nevada solar facilities. The remaining 75% has come from Nevada Energy, Nevada's main utility. Nevada Energy notified Liberty it will not renew this contract after May of 27, citing its own resource needs driven by massive data center demand. This affects a tourist area with ski resorts, casinos, and $28 million in 28 million annual visitors. Northern Nevada has become a major data center hub for companies like Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Data centers already use 22% of Nevada's electricity in 2024. Projections suggest up to 35% by 2030. Just 12 new projects could add 5,900 megawatts of demand by 2033. This is the equivalent of 2.8 times the output of Hoover Dam. Nevada Energy described the growth as, quote, unprecedented, and is prioritizing these large industrial loads. And absolutely insane. And again, dude, I'm about done and sick of hearing about data centers and AI and all this bullshit about, well, we need the water, we need the power, we need the data centers. And it's just this, crazy cycle where everything keeps getting more expensive because these psychopaths need to have some sort of AI god for themselves, or whatever the hell the case might be.
Well, and this is where alternative energy will come in. Again, not, to mention the John G. Trump connection, Tesla, and all that fun stuff, but America's 250. Let's have that, idea. If it's not solar, geothermal, again, they're talking about harnessing the sun's energy for these data centers in space. That sounds amazing, but again, they're trying to do it on our beautiful Earth. And what do we even need this for? We don't ask for it. We're not asking for this innovation. We want to go back to building. Elon's talking about going to Mars, and then here we are with this. So I think this might be, I don't know the longevity of this. I mean, look at those numbers. That's insane. Our planet can't contain that with just, oil and gas and whatnot.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting, and I'm not sure where this area is going to get power from, because they have to renegotiate their contract for 3/4 of the power being fed to Lake Tahoe side. So good luck, California, as fuel refineries are leaving. Go ahead.
It's way too much. And something sparked something in my head there when Tron was talking, which was it's almost like you're removing all the nature to get rid of. You're getting rid of the nature and the people, and you're putting up all these, technology data centers and things that are basically going to kill the environment as well, even worse. So these people are really concerned about, the planet and how it's shaped. I mean, we're turning this place into one big tech haven or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy.
Here, read that one.
Alrighty. Breaking U.S. data center. Fucking data centers again. Spending jumped 34% year over year in March to a record $50 billion annualized rate. Spending on data centers is up 437% since the beginning of 21, when the annualized rate stood at around $9 billion. This is also up 688% since the start of 2018, when the annualized rate was just around $6 billion. Meanwhile, office building construction spending fell negative 9% year over year in March to $46 billion, the lowest since 2015. This means that spending on data centers now exceeds office building construction by $4 billion, or about 9%. To put this into perspective, office construction spending exceeded data center spending by $65 billion, or 650% in 2020. AI is fundamentally ruining the U.S. economy. Transforming the U.S. economy. There we go. That's what it says.
And we're still waiting for those business loans to all fail. The commercial building loans that are falling all over the place, and 10 cents on the dollar. Let's look on the total map here. Data centers with high voltage transmission lines in the continental United States. So you can see where the big cluster of them down there in Texas is going to be, and some of you guys over here on the eastern seaboard are definitely getting tagged with quite a bit of those. And look at that big giant spot right there. I think that's Virginia area or something like that. McLean. So yeah, it's getting interesting.
It's got to be McLean, Virginia, where the CIA is.
Pretty much. Let's look at April CPI inflation rose 3.8%. Let's look at that. Energy commodities inflation's at almost 30%. Gas inflation at 28%. Airfare at 20%, energy at 17%, electricity at 6.1%, fruits and vegetables up 6.1%, hospice services up 5.5%, motor vehicle repair at 5.1%, and apparel at 4.2%. So climbing up a little bit on some of those cost of energy itself. Also over here.
Oh, you want to talk about apparel for a quick second? I bought my son a pair of sweatpants, Nike sweatpants yesterday, a Nike t-shirt, and Nike shorts. What was my bill?
$132.
75.
Shy by you're shy by about $20. Unfortunately, we went to Dick's Sporting Goods, where that three-piece
TJ Maxx, Ross for less. That's where
160. 160, dude. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me.
I just look at Nike's numbers. They're down 40% today.
How is that possible? How could they not be just, raking in the money with the friggin' slave labor that they got and as much as they charge?
They screwed up.
They went woke, yeah.
The Colin Kaepernick shit, remember?
Well, and they donated a ton of cash to BLM. Ton of cash. They went woke, and now it's like $44 a share. It used to be $180 4 years ago. $180 a share down to $44 for Nike. That's
Are you
ridiculous.
Serious? That's
bad.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they're saying price for goods and services are falling, but smartphone surge says is down 13%, but eggs are down 40%. So there's a list of things that they're coming down with on general stuff that is definitely dropping, mostly dairy and food products and stuff. So on some of those, but not beef. We're going to have to wait for that to come back around. Here's another one I checked into. A lot of disinformation and whatnot here. This seems to be true over here. Anybody want to take a crack at that?
Went to Walmart to investigate the oil shortage. Here's what I found. 1. Walmart clearly hasn't gotten the message to end their discounts as most of their oil is on rollback and clearance, including Shell Rotella. 2. The employees stated that they're experiencing delays on shipments of oil and filters. 3. The number one impact to Walmart is the bankruptcy of First Brands Group, who owns Fram, their number one filter supplier. Filters are almost out of stock, and they're waiting on Purolator filters to arrive. I was unable to get an oil change today because of this. Walmart.
So, yeah, somebody had come out with a post from Toyota stating that they were mixing oils for certain motors that they didn't have, some like 0.5 and 0 whatever it was, for their weights of oil that were out there. But again, that post was like 3 years old. There is some oil issues that they're having out there, because I did go check with O'Reilly's. Who's the other one I checked out over there? That they both have notices saying that they have a restriction on access to oil products and whatnot there. So as we have the Iran war, we're having some of the issues with some of the supply issues, and oil seems to be one of those that are coming around that I've seen some of the major retailers saying that their supply is having issues. So this guy's saying Walmart. I saw it with O'Reilly's, and I was going to start checking. There was a Mobile or Chevron, I can't remember which one. There was a notice from them too saying that they were having issues with their production here in the United States. So just as an FYI, things you should pay attention to. What else do we got out here? What was this? Oh yeah, more stuff coming out. So it says Shell lost $7 billion in Alaska in 2015, walked away, just came back. So did Exxon and Repsol with record bids earlier this month. $163 million in bids for Alaska's National Petroleum Reserve, which was increased because Biden locked 400,000 acres of it, and they just opened it back up again. The project's already converted bids into barrels. ConocoPhillips, Willows is going to say that these are the totals that they're going to be coming out with. But again, Shell's CEO says. On why 2026 is different than 2015. There is an onshore exploration opportunity very well established in the basin, a very, very well different offshore Alaska. So basically, they're finding a lot better stuff out there. This also goes along with the pipeline that they want to get down from Alaska down into the United States, as they're also adding. This also brings in Alberta at the same time because they had their referendum over there, and they had like 300,000 people vote on it. And they're like, all right, we're going to put it on the election for the people to vote on it to see if we want to leave Canada. Guess what happened? You won't believe it. Oh yeah, their Supreme Court says that's unconstitutional, and you can't have that vote in your area there. So sorry. Another Democrat control. So pay attention. That's still not totally locked off over there, but we'll see what's exactly happening out there. So we're heading over there. The other thing that we had talked about, because they're starting to crack down on the trucking out there, truckload spot rates have ripped up to $3.50 a mile because all the cheap guys and the illegal immigrants are not around, which means we're at a really close restriction on capacity in the system here. So trucking is going to start to be affected too, not just diesel prices, but obviously availability to transport goods across the United States.
This is where Elon's going to come in with those electric semis on autopilot or something. I mean, this isn't sustainable. And then going back to being able to drive just with the gasoline prices. I mean, we're paying what Europeans, well, not necessarily. You guys have been getting screwed forever. But yeah, man, it's not sustainable. But at $3.50 a mile, if you have any children or anyone changing, job cycles, get that license and go for it. That's pretty good.
Truck in. Oh, I can't remember. Eastbound and Down.
I missed that one. I like Trailer Park Boys better, I think.
You never saw freaking Smokey and the Bandit, is what you're telling me?
No, I don't even know what. No, that's Dukes of Hazzard, I think, right?
No, totally different thing. That's like confusing Star Trek and Star Wars. People who kill you.
Eastbound and Down was pretty funny, though.
Is it good?
Exactly.
Okay.
Honda Motors reported first annual loss in 70 years as public company driven by $9 billion in restructuring costs tied to the electric vehicle business, which means they abandoned their thing they were going to build in Texas or in Canada. They're going to build a whole big giant $10 billion facility out there to make electric cars because Joe Biden told them to. And since that all fell apart, they're like, nope. And they wrote off all that stuff just like GM did and Ford. So at least Ford's turning their cell battery manufacturing plant into a Tesla Powerwall type system. So they're going to use their stuff they got. But yeah, Honda's lost money. That's pretty incredible.
Wow, first time in 70 years, huh?
Yeah, wrote down it and said, signed it off. We're not doing that. So they're going to focus on hybrids and gas engines because people are actually buying those things. What else do we got? Oh, we've got the White House Task Force to Eliminate Fraud. New website had just come out. It's got 186,000 followers out there, run by J.D. Vance in the direction that they're taking their anti-theft. And this was, they're going to Maine. I think this was in Maine.
We have to take the fraud issue seriously. We really have the most.
That's their promo video is what they're coming out with. But he was in Maine. He did a little town hall, had a whole hour speech out there, but they're definitely going after the fraud that's happening in Maine. So that's coming. I don't know exactly where that's going to land, but they're definitely checking into that. Oh yeah, general
crazy.
Things with. Yeah, this is crazy coming out of California.
We're announcing that the federal government is deferring $1.3 billion in Medicaid reimbursements from the state of California. And the simple reason is because the state of California has not taken fraud very seriously. And because of that, we see a lot of the consequences that I just referenced. And again, let me highlight the fact that this really is two separate victims. So there are California taxpayers and American taxpayers who are being defrauded because California isn't taking its program seriously. But also you have people who've been prescribed medications that they don't even need. Sometimes they've had drugs put into their bodies that they don't need because fraudsters have actually encouraged false prescriptions and false administration of medications. So think about this. You're just a person trying to go see a doctor. You assume that your doctor is doing the right thing, but these fraudulent healthcare providers are getting rich by giving people medications they don't even need. It's a defrauding of the American taxpayer, but it's a violation of the trust that should exist between every American and the people who prescribe the medications. That's one thing that we're targeting. And this is why we're taking this action, is because we want California to get serious about this fraud. We're announcing.
You muted, Hulk?
I don't know how they're going to hold on to that one there, but here's one from Dr. Oz I thought was interesting.
Unfortunately, we have a reality that, again, we got to face. A third of all hospices, a third of all these programs in the entire country are in Los Angeles. Ask yourself, how is that possible? It's not. There are not that many people dying in Los Angeles. We're not talking about California, just Los Angeles. So Kim and the team, with Janina Ugo and a bunch of other great folks, went through the list of all the people, and we believe that at least half of the hospices in the entire area around Los Angeles are fraudulent. And today we announced 800 of those hospices have been suspended. That's getting us, close to where we think we should be. 800 hospices that last year charged the federal taxpayer $1.4 billion will no longer be paid. Now, Mr. Vice President, if your core business was shut down by the federal government, would you call?
Yes.
You would call. Crickets. We have less than 20 who have complained. We're not even sure those are legitimate. 800 hospices shut down, and we're not hearing much. It's crickets out there. So we believe we're on the right path here. Next is a nationwide moratorium on all new hospice and home health care. Why is that possible? Because when we squeeze the balloon in California and slow their growth of hospice and now take away 800, the payments to 800 hospices, we know what those fraudsters do. They move to nearby Nevada. Next door, Nevada has a 7-fold increase in hospice already. Arizona, Texas, they're moving across the country. So we've today announcing a moratorium nationally. There will be no new hospices or home health care open in this country. If you have the program now, you can keep it. You can go to ones that already exist. We're not taking away any services, but there will be no new ones, licenses granted until we can figure out a better way of working across government.
Yeah, no auto ops over there, just on the internet with some money in some tax ID stuff and asked for a bunch of money and fraudulent information. Yeah, they're doing a lot of that out here in California. What else do we? What's that?
20 out of 800 contacted them back and were like, "Hey, why'd you shut us down?" I mean, the fact that 780 of them didn't even bother to make a phone call, just tells you, like, clearly that's a fraud. Like, that's bananas.
Yeah. What else do we got here? We got Hegseth beating the stump on the $1.5 trillion investment into the industrial military complex out there. I don't know how well that's going to turn out to be. It's $500 million more than we spent underneath the Trump's administration's big giant boondoggle. What do they call that? That big one where he did two $700,000 ones back to back. Oh God, omnibus bill. The omnibus bill. Yeah. So yeah, that's going around there. Break it all down over here. Just take a look at it. Defense is 8% of the U.S. Government spending. Welfare is at 47%.
And that's horrible. I mean, there's people that need that legitimately, Americans, not like, Somalis coming in, not, Border Patrol coming in through Eagle Pass, but this is insane. 47%, dude. That's why everything costs so much. It's
9% set just for the interest on her debt right there.
Yeah, we only spend almost half of our money on welfare. Sure, why don't we open the borders and just roll some more folks on in here? Sounds like a great idea.
It sounds awesome, dude. Totally awesome. What else do we got out here? Oh, we're going to go drop by the UFO group over here because they're starting to say some interesting things here. ET phone home?
We were denied access to the skiff, and so to my knowledge, what's going to happen now is not only do we have the support of the chairman, but they're going to get a nice letter from Congress, and as you heard, Representative Ogle said if we're denied, we're going to use the Holman rule and we'll defund the position.
And I was told by leadership that it was blocked by the intelligence community, not the intelligence committee, but the intelligence community, and that is a very chilling effect. If someone can reach through the veil of government and pierce it to the point of we do not have access to something, you got to start asking yourself who the hell's in control. And I think it'd be wise for you all to start looking at some financial disclosures of some of those corporations, some of the people who do the stonewalling in this town. And that's what.
So being an older video out there, I just want to bring this back up again because we had the supposed DOD disclosure of the information for UAPs and UFOs, which we got some and found some very interesting stuff in there that the most interesting thing, I think I spoke to it on Saturday, on the last Saturday show, but did you know the U.S. government came out and said that they want to put a moon base inside of one of the big giant holes in the moon? Yeah, it's like 300 feet across, goes down a couple hundred feet, and then these tunnels, or these lava tunnels they're calling it, are like 31 miles long. I'm like, wait, we want to go build a moon base. So we're not going to show up there, walk to the end of the freaking hole and a flashlight and a freaking piece of string and take a look at the bottom. We're just going to go automatically and set up a whole moon base inside one of these holes. That's what the new NASA guy is coming out and saying. So I just find some of this stuff completely interesting.
Yeah, we need a rest before we have moon bases. Like we have, levels of accountability leading up to beautiful moon bases on, And even Boss dropped that picture months ago of a Trump Tower on the moon. So we're not far from that. Or do they already have it? And again, we had those astronauts take off on April Fool's Day. And again, UFOs, Bob Lazar, anti-gravitics ever since 1989 and potentially 1947, Roswell. I mean, now's the time, dude. How many years have to go by before the truth is finally released?
So are we saying aliens are real now? Because, he's coming out recently and talking about interdimensional beings and all those sort of things for some of the people that have disappeared that they're taking a look at. So I just find that fascinating of some of the things coming out of his mouth.
Come back to life. We always joke about, Epstein didn't kill himself, JFK Jr., blah, blah, blah. But if these scientists, or at least a handful of them, are somewhat protected, that opens the door to the possibility of everything in the past is just going to be, exploding into this kind of direction. But I'll tell you what, something for everyone. Angels, demons, dark to light, aliens or not, America and the world want the truth about everything. So bring it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that a lot of these guys talk about is the confusion between interdimensional beings and supposed, ghost or other phenomenon that they run into out there. So it's going to be really easy if they just start labeling all these things as like ghost or something along those lines, when they could be just actually interdimensional beings. Because your cats keep staring off in the corner.
Yeah, they do, right, too. And I would also highlight for you guys something I mentioned earlier, because he says, they're basically getting blocked by the intelligence community. Well, who do we have a story on earlier? The intelligence community, the CIA going into the DNI's office, in which I earlier told you guys, or if I didn't get to it, maybe I didn't even get a chance to it, but post 14, what must be shown to engage military, what must be completed to engage military intelligence over the three-letter agencies? I mean, I'm showing you at least two examples here that the intelligence communities are going above and beyond their pay grade, and so they shouldn't be taking anything from the DNI because they're under the DNI. So they're out of control, and clearly they're very out of control for the things that they've done just against Trump in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, James Ken reminded me also that she did say that they have alien hybrid mixing underground. Why she said it was underground, I don't know. But they have that type of stuff going on.
The new theory is underground, not necessarily up above. Now they're talking water UFOs. The movie The Abyss and, Flight of the Navigator. It comes from the water. There's more mystery in the water than the sky, I believe.
I thought it was interesting that one of the UFO guys say that the Flight of the Navigator is a lot more accurate than most people think.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Connection, Sarah Jessica Parker. That's creepy too. There's a lot of symbolism in that movie. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, go watch it again, guys. You'd be interested. What else did we got into the last pieces of potpourri as we getting around here? Kearney, so this is Canada again. Kearney surveillance bill. The C-22 comes under fire from big tech and U.S. government. Signal says we'll pull out of Canada. Meta says the bill will conscript private companies into service as an arm of the government surveillance apparatus. Wait, isn't that what you guys did underneath Joe Biden? Apple suggests it might withdraw some of its privacy services if Bill C-22 is passed. Jim Jordan, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, it will destroy and expand Canada's surveillance and data access powers in ways to create civic cross-border, blah, blah, blah. They want to have your IP address and have authorization to turn on your phone microphone so they can hear you in your house talking about bad things about the government. Yeah, that's what's in that bill they want to do, plus a whole lot more. But yeah, total surveillance, cameras, microphones, full access to all those phones that are all sitting around there. So I thought that was interesting. And then you see the King of England over here. Did you see what he said?
Yeah, it's coming.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Yay, everybody's getting a digital ID. So same thing Canada wants to do. See, King Charles comes out with it. And of course, we got our whole digital ID here in the United States as it starts to roll together with Panther and Social Security and the IRS and all that stuff. It's just going to be great with AI and computers. I hope we have a nice gulag.
Heck no. I ain't getting no real ID, no real digital ID. I guess, it's faster at the airport if you get one. Yeah, pass.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what happens. What else do we got? Well, we've got the whole meeting over there in China we can start talking about. Is there any particular talking points you want to talk about or anything you want to kind of go over those pieces? I mean, because as far as I see in the system itself, we have a lot of talking points that came out on social media with no official thing other than China gets access to some NVIDIA chips, some H200s. That 10 companies get to buy 75,000 chips, but it's not been authorized yet. They have to go through regulatory this and that, but did open up that. So NVIDIA was pretty happy with that. But we see the meeting coming out, and it seemed like Trump got the big giant fanfare itself. But it seems like they're waiting till tomorrow to release a lot of the information of what they were talking about and how they're going to do some of this. The other talking point I think is kind of important about the system is supposedly China offered help with Iran without the request of our administration whatsoever, that they offer, hey, let us know what you can do. Off the cusp, that seems interesting. And of course, Trump wants to have them buy the oil coming out of Alaska, which they're smart enough to hold on to their existing systems and are still going to work with Russia and continue to buy their oil, and they're not going to stop that, or Iran, because they get a special price on either one of those. So they're still continuing to do that because they don't know what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years when administration changes. We all know how crazy the Democrats got when they got into control. So just things to think about of the pieces that we're watching as how this thing comes together.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add is, like, look at the clickbait losers on the right there, Alex Jones and Chase Geyser. Xi Jinping issues stark warning. Xi warns Trump, don't interfere with Taiwan. No, he basically said, if it's not handled right, it could, could lead to some bad things. But this whole stuff about, he's warning them, like stark warning, this, that, and the other. It's just, sensationalizing shit for clicks. That's how I read it, which, is par for the course on these dorks.
Yeah, and then Trump responding to America, a nation in decline, and rounding it up to the Biden administration and his control for 4 years, which could be possibly true, but it seems to be more centered around what was going on over in Taiwan and their communications with that, and then if the United States was going to back them up. Give me 1 second.
Sure. Yeah, I was just checking it out earlier to say what exactly was said. You know what I mean? Like, what exactly was said? And he basically just said, if it wasn't handled right, then essentially there could be issues and could complicate future U.S.-China relations. You know what I mean? But the whole thing about a stark warning, it's like, just please.
I didn't see that. I think a lot of the left and the news media are playing up a lot of those types of things.
Alex Jones, right on your very right of your screen right here. It warns Trump, don't interfere. Like this guy, stark warning. Okay.
So here's the release from them. You want to take a crack at that?
Sure. President Trump had a good meeting with President Xi of China. The two sides discussed ways to enhance economic cooperation between our two countries, including expanding market access for American businesses into China and increasing Chinese investment into our industries. Leaders from many of the United States' largest companies joined a portion of the meeting. The presidents also highlighted the need to build on progress in ending the flow of fentanyl precursors into the United States, as well as increasing Chinese purchases of American agricultural products, or soybeans, right? The two sides agreed that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open to support the free flow of energy. President Xi also made clear China's opposition to the militarization of the strait and any effort to charge a toll for its use, and he expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on the strait in the future. Both countries agreed that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the talking points that come out. So we'll see what happens with the announcements tomorrow, is what, to my understanding, we're going to get a little bit more information on there. So let's see what happens over there. Oh, that was the NVIDIA deal. What else do we got? Oh, I had to throw this out here for you, everybody. I'm sorry.
President Trump is a real asshole. I keep trying to take Taiwan, but he keeps saying no. He'd be like, you can't take no Taiwan, Xi. And I like, why not, nigga? You took Venezuela and Iran and all that shit. And he'd be like, you take Taiwan. And I'm a tariff your fat Chinese ass, he. And that hurt feelings. Because he also got big fat ass from eating McDonald's all day. But he only calling President Xi fat ass. He also keep calling me Kung Fu Panda. That shit ain't right, asshole. Anyway, enjoy Kung Pao chicken totally made of chicken, I promise.
made of chicken, I promise.
Oh, we have to make fun of it. I have to over there on that side. Yeah, it's not AI out there. Oh, yeah, here's another interesting thing. Take a crack at this. We're going to do a little stuff on what's going on in Cuba.
Big update by Patrick Byrne and Emerald Robinson. Quote, Maduro has proffered or provided sworn federal court testimony on Biden, Obama. Obama lawyered up this morning. I heard he's got a whole bunch of criminal lawyers now. Did you see that? It just came across in the press. Oh, I understand that Maduro has proffered up on Biden and Obama, the CIA and China, and I can tell you what the proffer is. The proffer is 72 nations have been overthrown by this technology, and the CIA did 32 of them, and China did 40 of them, and that shifted everything left. The little birdies are telling me Maduro is in there singing like a canary. Oh, when does a bird sing? In parentheses, Mr. Byrne is himself self-admittedly a part of the CIA. And this is a quid pro quo. Maduro is in there saying, I'll drop my objection to being tried. I'll face the music if you let me use this disputed Venezuelan legal defense money, but the quid pro quo is that he's proffering and he's never going to see trial. He's giving them everything, and his trial is going to be a formality because he's proffering. He's making a deal. He's just making a deal. And that's why Marco Rubio is wearing Maduro's tracksuit over in Beijing today. Oh, damn. That's crazy, dude. And remember,
that was
dude,
awesome.
He was sanctioned.
Saw that, right?
I did not see that prior to now. And dude, he was sanctioned. He's not even supposed to be in China. And from what I understand, they maybe, I don't know if it was a parody, but did they make his last name Marco Lu?
They used his surname. He's been banned and sanctioned twice from China. China will not admit they were wrong whatsoever, because that would be political suicide. So they changed his name, allowed him to come into the country.
Love it. Love it.
What else do we got? Oh yeah, here, you can read that one too.
Now, the director of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, has just personally met with Cuba's communist government in Havana. The CIA just publicly went inside Cuba while President Trump and Marco Rubio talk about a possible friendly takeover or deal. Cuba is next. Rubio nailed it. Quote, military generals take all the money. The people are literally eating garbage in the streets. You cannot change the economic trajectory of Cuba as long as the people in charge now are in charge of that regime. That's going to have to change. I hope I'm wrong. We'll give them a chance, but I don't think it's going to happen. Boom.
That's what he's saying down here, down there at the bottom, the very beginning of the clip.
It doesn't, forget about it, doesn't go to the people. It doesn't even go to the government. The wealth is controlled by a company owned by military generals. They take all the money. They're sitting on billions of dollars. Okay, this is a country where people are literally now eating garbage from the streets, but they have a company that controls all of the money making there that's sitting on $16 billion. So yeah, they're paying attention down there, and Radcliffe is down there.
Yeah, look, hey, they even put out pictures. How often do you see a CIA come out and show pictures of their meetings in foreign countries like this?
And it's so quick too. Like they're just there. They were there, and now they're, right after China, Iran war, excursion still going on. Ukraine, Russia is on the sidelines. Palestine and Israel, Hamas, all that nonsense. Again, everything happening at once. This is a well-oiled machine, and Boss's administration is hitting that ground running. Grab some of those Cuban cigars, bring them back, man. Cohibas, yes.
Yeah. Also came out that they're out of power or out of diesel, so they've had a lot of rioting going on. Oh yeah, read this for everybody. I thought this was interesting. This came out today too.
U.S. officials say U.S. is moving toward indicting former Cuban President Raul Castro. He's 94. He's like Soros almost. Over the downing of planes 30 years ago. Let's go. Take him. Put him in handcuffs. Let him live the next couple lives, a couple of days in Gitmo.
Yeah, so that's going down. What else was in here? And then the rioting that was going on. Says massive protests erupt in Cuba. Hundreds of furious residents have taken to the streets of Havana in one of the largest anti-government demonstrations in the capital in decades. Protests broke out after the Cuban government announced it had completely run out of diesel and fuel oil reserves. This just happened recently, too. Yeah, that's on the 14th. So rioting, people panicking, all those sort of things. So, yeah. And Nick Shirley just came back talking about food rations and how people take years to get chicken or even an egg. Interesting. What else do we got? Yeah, Cuba has completely run out of diesel fuel oil. So they're screwed. Now we are down to my potpourri here at the very end. Interesting
things. Quick little Mersh. You want to do a little capitalism, a little wallet?
Yeah, we can.
Rumble? Let's try that out.
Yeah. You still there, Mr. Space Shot?
Capitalism.
Yeah.
I'm here.
I got to do a full.
Guys, real quick. Wait, let me mute.
Is it? I don't know. Rumble Wallet, you said? Yeah.
I had to do a full refresh here. Hold on one second.
TB.
Refresh.
Hey, Margarena.
That's really? It doesn't even list any of them in there. You know, go for Rumble Wallet. I'll hit the button right now. You ready?
Yep. Thank you, man.
Oops, that's not
There
it.
we go. That's the wrong one.
Nope, that's not it. Where is it? There it is.
Break for 30 seconds.
All right, guys. Quick question. How much control do you actually have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. This isn't hype. This is where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think. That's where Rumble Wallet comes in. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stablecoins, even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place. Setup is simple. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in minutes. It's not about the amount, it's about getting in early and understanding what's coming next. And once you're set up, you can even tip your favorite Rumble creators like me, Hulk, or Tron directly.
Yay.
So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. Take control of your money. Get started with Rumble Wallet today. Boom.
Break for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yay. Everybody good?
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah, here's another one for you. Any of you two want to take that?
Oh, DOJ, former NFL player sentenced to 16 years for defrauding $200 million from Medicare and, is that Virginia or the VA? Let's see.
You keep going down.
Veterans
Just read a
Affairs,
couple of this down here at the bottom. I was just like, what?
Wait, who was this guy here? DOJ says Joel Rufus French, 47. Former NFL player, 16 years, $200 million out of Department of Veterans Affairs that built Medicare. It says he was the beneficial owner of 8 durable medical equipment, DME companies, and ran a scheme of selling patient information and sham doctor's orders for orthotic braces that patients did not want or need. Wow, worked overseas with telemarketing call centers that pressured elderly patients to provide their personal and health insurance information and agree to accept orthotic braces they didn't need. Court documents show that in certain instances, the call centers would alter call recordings to make it seem like Medicare patients agreed to the braces when they did not. Dude, that is bad. It said French paid sham telemedicine companies kickbacks to obtain signed doctor's orders from doctors and nurse practitioners who never examined and often never spoke to the patients. He sold the orders to marketers and medical supply companies, which he then submitted claims to Medicare. French also defrauded Medicare and Civilian Health and Medicare program of the Department of Veterans Affairs by billing their programs for orthotic braces through 8 DME supply companies that he owned and managed, using straw owners and false documents to hide his connections to the companies from Medicare. Wow, what a scumbag.
That's good. Yeah, a few years, dude, like 3 or 4 years, dude, $200 million, dude. Yeah, pretty good little racket, dude, to rack up there really quickly. They are finding these guys. Here's another one for you.
Oh, God, is this the owner of healthcare software company convicted of $1 billion Medicare fraud conspiracy? The Department of Justice crushed one of the most egregious fraud schemes in Florida history. This illegitimate operation stole more than $1 billion from American taxpayers, including hundreds of thousands of Medicare beneficiaries. This was cold, calculated, industrial-scale theft targeting the sick and elderly, coercing vulnerable people into buying unnecessary medical equipment. We will not rest until every fraudster ripping off the American people is held accountable. Todd Blanche.
This guy was using computers and a whole bunch of other stuff, where the other guy was using durable medical equipment companies, and this guy's doing it on a on a computer AI scale type thing and making up claims and all that, dude. So yeah, dude, I don't know how these people are getting away with a lot of this stuff.
Looks like
what else do we got here? We might come back to that one here. What else do we have? Oh yeah, U.S. charges Singapore Indian firm and foreign Indian crew members with conspiracy, misconduct, and obstruction in the deadly collision and collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Got about that. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yep, they charge people for that, so they're finally getting around to that. Those Indian people had been in the country for that long under investigation. They had to leave them on the ship for a little bit, but yeah, charging those guys. What else do we got down in here too? What was this? Oh, we don't need to go into that. More crap. Oh, this is something we should be paying attention to for everybody that's out there, because I think this is going to affect the whole planet. We'll go to the video down here.
Away from the starts of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season with potentially one of the strongest El Niños of all time, and we could be in for a very busy year for this basin. One factor that could impact how the season plays out is something called the Pacific Meridional Mode, or PMM. It's a climate pattern involving changes in ocean temperatures and trade winds that are far north of the equator, or just north of the equator rather, and it develops when trade winds weaken, allowing ocean temperatures to warm. When we get a positive PMM phase, well, that can not only help trigger El Nino, but also strengthen it. So let's talk more about what this all means and effects it could have not only on the United States, but even Hawaii. Hawaii comes into play when we look at past years when we've had a PMM. So basically what you'll see here is the United States. Here's the equator. We got some very warm waters that start to develop not just south of Mexico, but closer to Baja, California, Mexico. So rather than just this area here, you see the warmer waters here. That also happens as we see the trade winds relax. It allows the water to build. If you have trade winds that moves the water around, it lets the upwelling happen, and you get cooler waters because the cooler water from the below comes up, and when you have trade winds moving things around. When you have relaxed winds, guess what? All of that warmer water comes up. 3 years to note. We go back to 57, 59, 91 through 92, and 2018 to 2019. Those are years where we had El Nino, and we had a PMM. The PMM, when you look at the water temperature difference, this is 1959. Look at the warmer waters here all the way up close to portions of Baja, California, Mexico. You look over to the next big one that we had in 1992, very similar with the water temperatures, very warm, almost all the way to the California coast to places like San Diego, certainly reaching LA and San Diego back in 2018. And why it's that significant is when you have storms that develop well south of Mexico, they tend to do this and head toward Hawaii. When you have them to the north, a lot of them keep the energy going as long as the upper steering mechanisms take it to the north. You've got warmer waters to keep those storms going. Let's talk about Hawaii specifically as well, because the current status that we're seeing with the water temperatures are very similar to what we saw during those years where we had a PMM. Now, overall, they're still cooler than average. They're still cool, rather, but they're warmer than average is what I'm trying to say. So here are the 3 years, 59, 92, and 2018, and look how active it was. We had 15 named storms on average, above average. We go back to a couple of storms that made landfall on Hawaii, right? You had Iniki and Dot, 1959 and 1992. Those storms held together. Let me go back in time here just to show you the path, because a lot of these became Category 3, Category 4, maybe even Category 5, but intense storms as they approached Hawaii and then south of Hawaii, getting the energy, making landfall here, 2 of them. Lane was very close, and both of those made Hawaii landfall, rather, on Kauai. You'll remember Iniki in 1992. That's when they filmed Jurassic Park, if you remember that movie.
Close enough, but look on the amount of water. Oh, this doesn't show it all out there because it's a little bit off there. There's so much warm water here in the Pacific, guys. This is going to be an issue for I think a lot of Southern California going to get storms, which means it pretty much dries out the rest of the Midwest, and we get a lot of rain out here. So we'll see what happens. Maybe some hurricanes, tornadoes, that whole sort of thing. So yeah, super El Nino is coming together. Pretty interesting. And by fall and winter this year, it should affect a lot of the United States. And that was, I think, my last thing, guys. I didn't think I had anything else out there.
How many people
I'm all out.
How many people did Trump go to China with?
A lot.
Boom.
Take a guess.
20.
Take another guess.
25.
All right. Think of one of my favorite numbers and letters.
17.
Bing.
You're
Bing.
funny.
Just a coinky dink. Interesting thing in the chat here. I don't know if you remember this, Hulk or Tron, but Q Essence 75 says, why were there no red carpet linings at the walkway at the Phillips Conservancy for the Leaders' Dinner hosted by Obama in 2019? And the New York Times wrote a story pointing it out at the time as well. Trying to find that story. If you got that link, definitely send me an email, spaceshot76 at Proton Mail. I'm searching for it right now as we speak.
You're funny.
I love it.
Oh, we appreciate everybody in chat interacting in there. Make sure you smash the thumbs up, hit the red pill. We love the people over on Pilled. Thank you, everybody who's getting involved in the chats. We appreciate you. So we'll see what happens. We got a lot of interesting things happen on the election integrity. I think it looks good. I think some storms are coming. And I think we're finally going to be able to see kind of a bigger picture of what the Trump administration has been kind of set it up for the deep state actors. If they can deliver it, I'd love to see it. But just hopefully they can do it safely in America, right?
It's definitely building up. You can feel it. It might be because we've been in this for 8 years. And again, most of our chat has been here since, JFK era. We've been waiting for this moment for all of our life. So again, this is the real deal. And the best part is we are in the best position to basically do anything. So, we want it in 2 weeks. We want it next week. But again, going back to 2018, 2019, the patient patriot will be rewarded. And this is, again, big picture stuff, guys. 40,000 foot view. We have to do it right. We can't have double jeopardy. We have to have the law and justice on our side as the Constitution was written for us. So again, 250 years approaching. This is the president of the precipice, and we are ready for it all. Bring it. Bring it all, baby.
Yeah, I like to see the baby, is like I've been saying lately. I want to see
baby's here. Baby's been growing. The baby's 8, 9, 10 years old. You just gotta, not treat it like a redheaded stepchild and pay attention.
No, to see the baby of justice is what I was waiting for.
Oh, well, the baby's grown and it's going to be an adult soon, and we're going to get that justice.
I hope it's like triplets or something.
Yeah, that's rare. We don't hear about twins or triplets anymore, and Down syndrome, it kind of went away. Little people, too. We don't hear about little people as much anymore. Small world, but nonetheless.
Yeah. and this stuff has never been really, openly attempted, right? Like, so this is the best shot we got to get this stuff done, and I feel like they war game the crap out of this stuff. I really do, and if not now, it will never happen. You know what I mean? Think about it. In the grand scheme of things, if it doesn't happen, they would button it down so bad to the point where they would never let it happen again. So I feel like it's now or never. And, some people out there have some concerns. Oh, maybe Trump's doing whatever a certain country wants. And I'm just trying to remind people, there's so many millions of us out there that whether that government does it or whether we have to rewrite the Constitution ourselves as the people, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and like I keep saying, I don't care which way it happens, we're going to be right. Either it's unchangeable and the deep state's entrenched and no one person could ever take it down, then we were right. The deep state exists, it fights back, we got the idea. Or we come down, take down the justice, they show America how bad it is, and we were right again, because it did exist and they're finally taking it down. So either way, I'm okay with it. Just one's got a lot more happier ending than the other. So I like to hope a lot, and we'll see if they're going to be able to serve justice in America. And it seems like we got some of the right team in the right spots, even though some of the announcements coming out of people leaving the administration might be a little overwhelming, or you're just like, whoa, what happened? But as we start to hear some of the stories and the changes that we see under Todd Blanche, justice might be served, and it might make a big difference going down there in Florida. So, I mean, we see the beginnings of the trial starting in the direction that it needs to go. So I'm hopeful for a lot of that, and it's something that's going to take another year or so. But I think we'll be exposed to it in the big grand scheme of things in about a year, in my opinion.
I think we're going to be a little, my personal opinion is I think there's going to have to be a major shakeup and exposure by the time I'd be willing to be comfortable celebrating our 250th anniversary. And I feel like a lot of people probably feel the same way, but I don't know.
So you're thinking more close to 4th of July here shortly is what you're thinking?
Well, I don't think it's all going to be done and like not everything's going to be said and done, but I think,
a marker though.
Yeah, to kind of almost quote the drop, something that will give like a hint of what direction we're heading. You know what I mean? Like a major Obama or something along those lines. But I feel like we'll get some major indicators, like major indicators before 4th of July. But again, it's like you said, it's not going to be done and settled for quite a while.
What would you be satisfied with if they came out and said this or done that? What would you be like? Oh, okay, they've done this, then we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. What would be your limit there?
Fauci, Obama, Schiff, Hillary, Schiff. Did I say Schiff twice already? Schiff and Schiff one more time. No, I mean, just, indicators that they're going to proceed in going after. I mean, he keeps doing it left and right. He keeps marking Obama like crazy. Fox News keeps marking Obama like crazy. So it's definitely going down there, and all roads lead to Obama. So I feel like it's got to be something major like that to let us know. And I don't want to be the arbiter of what it is, but I feel like we'll get a big hat tip in one direction. I really do.
Yeah, I do expect something before the 4th of July. I mean, it's something that they're going to keep in tune with that same mantra. What do you think there, Tron?
Well, because again, back to that buildup. And once Space Shot, once Obama, once Brennan, once Clapper. And the whole crew, it has to almost end where it started. So Russia. And once you kind of wrap that up, I mean, this has been going on forever. So once you wrap that up, the American public are going to want more. So then they're going to go back into time and find out how much we've been screwed. And literally, we're going to be rewriting history at some point, and a re-education is going to happen. And that is the true definition of the Great Awakening. I mean, it's all different for each and every one of us across this big, beautiful, round planet, or flat, depending. But again, they're going to throw psychological operations at us left and right. But at the end, we're on the right side of history. And that's the best part, that we can tell these stories. We can, archive offline. We have these shows now. We have Rumble rolling. YouTube is already down the tubes, and Twitch, where are they at? So again, like just, David and Goliath, we are fighting for each and every day, but most importantly for the future. So again, arrest from the beginning, Q drop 0, it has to wrap around full circle. And along this whole journey, we've been getting little hints here and there. And again, going back to 2017, North Korea was freed, right? Kim was freed. That was one of those strangleholds or strongholds back in the day where they were potentially the sum of all fears. And now we just moved the, chessboard a little bit, and now it's Iran. So we're taking down the proxies, we're taking it down top down, and at the same time, we're taking it down bottom up, right? All these small little arrests and criminal activities in LA, in Minnesota, in all those little remnants of their 16-year plan. This is the awakening. And the best part is we're not going to know what comes next. We can hope and dream. And that's why we're still here. And we're going to win.
Yeah, it does seem like we're seeing a lot of climb the ladder here at this point. And, outside of the stuff that we're hearing from John Solomon, it's good to see at least some of the court stuff start moving through. We see John Brennan, the rest of the likes starting to react and have to answer questions. And we're hearing that other three-letter agency personnel are giving testimony. So it's going to get interesting because the truth is going to be told. And like Dan Bongino says, it's not going to be my truth. It's not going to be your truth, but it will be the truth itself. And it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. The whole fruit of the poisonous tree. So there's going to be a big giant red herring and a lot of the stuff that we're waiting to go down for. But it is going to be exposed, and it will be true 100%. So just prepare for that. So should we do our final thoughts and start going around that thing, unless you guys got other things to mention?
Yeah, and also I'll just add to Tron's point. I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before. All the days are mixing together, but I forgot what even channel. It was some channel I was watching. It was like UFC type of stuff, right? And I guess we got roughly right now, amazingly, we got almost 400 folks in YouTube live right now. And I look at that and I'm like, well, you got 149,000 subscribers, which most of those are dormant right now. But almost 400 people watching on YouTube. There was a channel I watched a couple days ago. It was like 1 million followers they had, dude. They had 192 people watching them live. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, so to Tron's point, YouTube is poo-poo and they're dead for sure.
Yeah,
So come
I was
over.
looking at somebody who had like 25,000 followers or whatever, and there's like 3 people watching his live stream playing games.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
It's all about community. Foxhole as well. We can't forget Foxhole. They were there for us in the very beginning before we could even stream on Rumble. We'd have to do live shows on DLive and Pilled and then upload the show to Rumble. Remember that? I mean, that was nuts, dude. We didn't even have that kind of community until Rumble and until Pilled.net came around. So shout out to the Mats over there. And again, this is the power of the people. This is we the people, and this is Patriots in 2026. And we have solutions. We always have alternatives. We always have the solutions ready. And again, back to Journey, there are no problems. There's only solutions, baby.
Yeah. And to answer the chat's deal, because they're talking about the device that found detonated, they found what they supposedly said is a improvised explosive device at the bottom of a dam in a reservoir. So a lot of the things they're pointing at is that they're not sure exactly where it came from, but it's grenade based is what they were coming down to. I haven't gone into it at all. I did hear about it. I didn't think it was a totally big issue because we do find a lot of the magnet fissures and those types of things. But these guys were down doing maintenance on the sewer or one of the piping down at the bottom of the deal, and they did find it in a explosive device that was supposedly could be remote detonated. So I didn't get a chance to mix it into the show. I was going to save it for Saturday, but I did answer your question there, Net Booth. So I'll let you know.
Gonna get crazy. What's up, my brother? I see Rambo and friends in the house. What's up, my man? Good to see you over there. And yeah, dude, this stuff is just getting absolutely wild.
Exactly. And I think that's about it. Should we go do thank yous? Anything else we should throw out before we get out the door? Anything else that the audience should know? I'm saving the rest of my stuff for Saturday.
Should we tell everybody how we've been dating secretly for a while? Or should we hold that for a little bit?
That's going to be Saturday show. We're going to come out and give the OnlyFans account. So we got to save that for later.
Hey, you better have feet pics. Better get that manicure, pedicure.
We're hiring you for filming.
We're starting onlyfeets.com. Dude, I laugh at that, but dude, some sick weirdos would actually sign up for that stuff. Tron's like, you bet
There's a
I
handful in
would.
the chat, I can tell you right now. There's a handful.
I don't even want to go there. I'm not a foot person.
You will be. You will be. If
feet are just ugly, dude.
$80 steaks and $20 gallons of milk. You might like feet all of a sudden.
Yeah, watch out. Might be James O'Keefe in a dress.
Ugh, James O'Feet.
Better than Bill Barr. Remember when he was Mr. Bagpiper?
The honey badger.
Oh, yeah.
And he was wearing like a dress or something like that.
Yeah, I'd like to point out at the very end of Rosenstein's deal where they had his retirement party and all of them were there with Christopher Wray and Bill Barr and Rosenstein, and they're all freaking high-fiving each other like it was a big giant celebration. I always thought that was weird and interesting at the same time. Remember that?
Oh yeah, and Sessions leaving like crying in like tears of like happiness, and they were all very proud of him leaving. So yeah, it was very odd to see. And will he be making a return? Because remember what that post said. Sometimes you got to take one for the team to later on be come back and be shown to be a hero. So he hasn't had that hero arc return yet.
And it still comes back to the fact is who's hiding all the stuff in the burn bags in the certain rooms. Who would have the clearance to do that? Maybe a director of the FBI or deputy director of the FBI, one of those two people? Mm-hmm. That's still interesting. Rays of light, Ray's a sleeper. Yeah. I don't know.
After Comey gets finished, Ray's going to have to. But first, Comey has to like sing for, he has to sing first before Ray comes in to kind of corroborate how it all happened. So I think Comey's the lead in, and Ray's going to be easy. Again, ongoing investigations, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, and never forget that the UK group is the one that lit this off in the very beginning with John McCain and the whole dossier and all that. So it's just not our guys. It's also the UK and dealing with their crap. And what's her name? The old girl from the director of CIA who was station chief over there in the UK.
Gina
Haspel. So there's a big list of things we're trying to figure out who fits where, but I think we're going to get the answers themselves. So I think we should do final exits, guys.
It's coming.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Mr. What are you doing Friday there, Tron?
Tomorrow's Friday. We are going to do Friday Funnies. Drop your links in the chat for the wheel. And last Friday, Danny Scavs, half hour into the funny show, dropped a stand-up comedian making fun of Biden supporters. It was absolutely hilarious. Always a great time. And then Saturday we have music, and Sunday is the Great Awakening morning show going on 298 episodes, man.
Oh my God.
Long time. And again, that's, over here at Table of Titans, 8 years. I mean, this is, again, OGs. Shout out to all the OGs in the chat that have been with us since the beginning, back in the Discords, back on Patriot News, L9, and what was the one before that? I wasn't there. QNN, the other one before that. And we miss all you guys. If you guys are lurking, if you guys are lurking all these years, we miss you guys, and we're going to celebrate someday in the not too distant future. I will see you guys on one of those days between Tuesday and Sunday. And thank you, Hulk and Space Shot, for a great show. Thank you, Rambo and friends, for this afternoon show. And hit that thumbs up on the way out. Hit a repost on my Rumble videos, and I will add you to the wheel on Sunday to win free Tron Try merch. That is right. All you got to do is hit the repost button, and I'm going to add you to the contest on Sunday. Great times ahead. Have faith, Patriots. Always be encouraged. Dig, meme, and pray. And where we go one, baby, we go all. Much love, tribe.
Awesome. Did my song come up on the music wheel yet, or is it still in holding pattern?
Backed up like 2 years. We got Christmas songs on there from 2 years ago. We got Prince was still alive songs. Michael Jackson. I'm just kidding. The propofol wasn't kicking in yet, but not yet. You got to be patient. It'll go around. We did the Ice Cube, though. The Ice Cube was good. And he's pro boss now, right? Tell everyone that Ice Cube, and I think Snoop is even coming around too, that son of a bitch.
Well, I'm not too sure about Snoop, but definitely Dr. Dre over there has been always on the Republican side. Just a reminder that he's the one that came out that the CIA didn't technically write the NWA songs, but they wanted to make sure we glorified certain parts of the songs. And then he also talked about how the rap industry also owns the private prisons and all those sort of things. What was the other thing? Oh, and in 2020, he was trying to work with the Democrats, something about black jobs or something huge. And he was trying to go over to the Democratic Party and talk to those guys, and nobody would talk to him. And then he called Trump and he says, when can you be here? And he met him in August of 2020 before the election. And then they totally tried to bag him down that he went and talked to the enemy and played that whole game. He's all, dude, I tried to go talk to the damn freaking Democrats. They wouldn't touch me with the 10-foot pole. And I make one call and I'm meeting with the president in under 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
He tried both.
It's interesting.
He tried both. They didn't want to hear it. And dude, there was a funny comment in the chat because I mentioned Sessions. G. Westbury says if they don't get this shit going, Sessions gonna be dead. True, he's a little seasoned.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't make it over. I think it was Kentucky. They were trying to run for that Senate seat over there. So we'll see what happens with that. So we're gonna definitely have a new pick in Kentucky because Mitch is out. No more cocaine, Mitch. So
turtle.
I think Tron already did his exits and all those sort of things. Did you want to do any thank yous? I can go hit off pilled because we're running off the rails.
Yep, go ahead.
We're running off the rails out there.
I just got my
Lizzie B.
Lizzie B.
Gifted the cookie. Patriot Game gifted the cookie. Lizzie B with the cookie. No thanks, Joe. Gifted the cookie. Nice to hear you, gentlemen, on Thursday night. Thursdays are turning into great days of learning for me and lots of you guys together to inform and expose and enlighten. Thanks again. God bless. Be safe. Tanette Booth gifted the ship. You rock. Linux 7 gifted shades. Tanette Booth gifted the cookie. See link in the post. I did see that. And my T Patriot gifted the phone. I appreciate everybody always getting active in the social media. So if you get a chance to go hit the Twitter feed, give us a little like, a little retweet out there. Maybe leave a little comment. If you're on the repeat, a little comment in the bottom always helps out with the algorithm there. Mr. Space Shot, sir?
It sure does help. Well, I just want to thank Dawn West for the gifted subscription earlier. And yes, I'll actually be on 2 shows tomorrow. I'm going to be jumping on with 412 and on at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then on News Trees and call-in show around 8 o'clock-ish. So check us out tomorrow. I'll put out postings for that as well. And I'm still debating whether I should be doing a 12 o'clock show tomorrow on the regular basis on Fridays. One thing I know is I got to stick to it once I start on there. So either I do or I don't. I do. But we'll see. Just leave look out for postings, and I will let you guys know in that manner, sir. So yeah, I'm good to go.
Other than that, we will continue the rest of the saga Saturday morning, 10 a.m. if you're on the west side of the United States. If you're on the east side, it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So bring your lunch, bring your coffee. Make sure you're not drinking while we're doing funnies out there. We're going to have some music coming out on the inside. And I'm still waiting for Tron to roll by the one I threw in there in his wheel show out there. So that should be very interesting out there when you come across that one, guys. So other than that, like Space Shot always says,
we do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in out there. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Much love. Be good humans.
Special is happening in here. That's right, it's brackets and jackets, bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh, boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.